Dude, there is literally not a single pizza-related song except for the SpongeBob one, which is good.
That's a good one.
It's gonna get us taken down, dude.
I do dubstep too. You guys know that, right? Did you read that?
No.
Oh, you know, like I own Moonrise Festival.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's like the whole thing. This whole thing was a pivot.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
This was like, I didn't
crazy.
make pizza. A year ago, I wasn't making pizza. I was playing Call of Duty. 15 months ago, I was throwing EDM shows everywhere.
Oh, that's so
Crazy, right?
Dude,
What
that
the
is
fuck?
wild. That is
Yeah.
wild.
You definitely lead with the pizza now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
definitely.
it's the dad thing. I'm
You didn't
like,
come
oh,
in with
pizza.
any glow sticks or anything like that. I got some Detroit style pizza. I got some Molly.
I boofed Somali before I left the house because I wanted to have a vibe.
Damn. Well, I know who has a fucking food stall at the next Moonrise.
I know, seriously. Like, we need to do
Exclusive food by
Yeah.
Underground Pizza.
that. Sorry, we only have pizza today.
Pizza and mozzarella sticks.
Oh, man. Well, I'm going to skip the track anyway. There's no pizza songs to go in on. Who cares, dude? Live from the studio, I'm Jimmy Selesky.
I'm Eric Glazer.
And today we are here with, I just found out so much more about you in the past
30 seconds.
13
shit.
seconds,
There we
legitimately.
go.
But we are here with Evan Weinstein. Great name to have these days, dude.
Yeah, I try not to talk about it.
Well, you're sticking with the
I've
pizza.
had it my whole life.
Yeah.
So
Of Underground Pizza, which I, up until about 10 minutes ago, didn't realize that you just started within the past year. Eric told me that.
So this is a hobby. No, so this was a pivot project. I was sitting at home playing a lot of Call of Duty, come from the entertainment industry, and we're shut down. Obviously, events are shut down. Moonrise Festival, Steez Promo, all of our events disappeared in 72 hours. Literally a full calendar to nothing.
Yeah.
And started making pizza at home for myself, and that went to people saying, "Hey, I want to buy one of those. That looks good." And then it was like making 20 pizzas a week out of my house, just 20, like, $20 here, $30 here, whatever.
So did you have any background in pizza at all?
So in high school, I worked at a pizza restaurant as a delivery driver. That's my first bit of experience. Second,
there we go.
Second, it's like if I had any experience as a pilot, I'd be like, I drove a school bus once.
Yeah.
Second, I worked at the dining hall at UMBC, the
There you
pizza
go.
station.
Pizza
late
capital
night.
of the
I put
world.
out 700 pizzas at UMBC's dining hall one night. That's my claim to fame.
There you go.
That's the most I ever did at college.
Catonsville style pizza.
Catonsville style. Yeah.
World renowned.
Poorly organized and tastes horrible. So yeah, I mean, I just like to cook. So I've made tons of pizza at home. I've got like one of those pizza grill things, like
I got one of
turn your
those.
grill into a pizza oven. I like cooking, and this all just started as I'm tired of driving to go pick up this pizza. I'm just going to make it for myself.
Yeah.
And then, is there an air raid going on?
There is always something going on with that fire department. By the way,
it's a
can
fire
you shut
department.
that?
All right.
But
Yeah,
shut it real lightly because it's gonna move my camera. A gust of wind could move me off screen. But we were talking about it a little bit before the podcast, and I did want to kind of save it until now. But I was intrigued because I've only been made aware of two types of pizzas.
Yeah.
And that would be New York style
Uh-huh.
and Chicago style,
Right.
which is deep dish.
Yeah.
That's as far as I know. I know there's other types of pizzas.
Yes.
I didn't know there was any other city styles of pizza.
Oh, there's a lot of cities of style of pizza. So there's a Buffalo style pizza.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would have
there's
just assumed
some-
that was just with buffalo sauce.
Yeah. No, there's like no. There's like an actual like people from I didn't know about it either until recently. But people from Buffalo are like, oh yeah, like this Buffalo style pizza is like Buffalo pizza. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
dude, you're in New York, bro. So
Yeah.
just,
just call it New York. There's obviously Sicilian and all those types, but then you get into Chicago style. There's the Detroit style, which is big in that region. There's New Haven, Connecticut, which is considered by some, it's a very controversial topic, the capital of U.S. pizza.
New Haven, Connecticut.
New Haven, Connecticut has like some of the oldest and some of the most renowned like pizza places.
and that's like right over the water from New York City.
No,
No,
I think
have
it's.
know nothing
I've
about-
never been to New Haven. I've only been to Hartford and Wallingford, which skip Wallingford.
Wallingford, baby.
Wallingford,
Wallingford style pizza.
Wallingford,
That's what you want.
Connecticut. Yeah, right.
But you focus on, you do Detroit style pizza.
Detroit style pizza.
And
yes.
and to me, when you brought it in, it seemed a lot like it was reminiscent of a Chicago style pizza. Kind of had that deep dish vibe to it.
Yep.
But to be honest, I've only had Chicago style once.
Yeah.
And when I went out to Chicago, I was dating my ex at the time.
Yeah. So
And
you had a bad experience with it.
Of course. We stayed
Now
there.
I have to hate it.
Yeah. We stayed there with her friend who was like this very like bohemian type of like kind of like free spirit girl.
Yeah.
And of course we go out to Chicago and I'm only there for layover for like overnight. So we get
Right.
there at like 8 p.m. We had to leave the next morning at 7 a.m. So I got 8 hours in Chicago. I want to try something and I heard like Lumalnati's.
Lumalnati. Yes, that's what that's
And
the one I've had
yeah.
too.
And I wanted to get that, but her friend was like, "No, that's like a touristy place.
It's not good.
We
so.
got to go to like this like local blah 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 blah." And so we go to like some like hipstery kind of like deep dish thing, and it just like was okay. And I just remember sitting there being like, "I know we could have gotten better pizza."
I've had Chicago pizza. I went to Lou Malnati's. I was actually in Chicago for a couple days for dinner, and I had Lou Malnati, and it just wasn't good. We waited a long time for it. It didn't taste good. It was so cold out. There was nobody even outside that I could give it to because I just didn't want to eat it. We took it to go and we left it in the hotel. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
And that's probably the only other, aside from island to airport pizza that I could not eat. That's probably the only pizza that I ate. Like, I can't eat this. This is not good.
Now, is that a chain, Lumalnati's?
Yeah, I think they're all over Chicago. I think there's like a bunch of them, and then that's my aunt lived in Chicago. I'm like, where should I go for deep dish pizza? Chicago pizza, and she's like, Lou Malnati's, and I was like, this sucks. Yeah, I'm never asking you about pizza again.
It's probably like how like Pat's and Geno's is like the big Philly cheesesteaks, even though they're not like the best ones.
They're
you know
not
what
the
I mean?
best, and I'm from Philly, so I'm like,
Yeah.
And I go to Geno's, and I know it's not the best, but I go there because I was a kid, and I went there for.
Yeah, I feel
my
like that's
whole
how
life.
it is for like most people too, where it's like, oh shit.
Boom.
I didn't know it was about to happen.
Whole thing comes crashing down. So
guys will thank me for that
yeah,
later.
no, it's very. I think it's very similar to that, and I just the style of Chicago's a little bit more layered. It's more like a quiche. I just felt like it's just not. This is more fluffy, like a bit more bready.
Dude, the butteriness on the bottom was
It's so
unreal, dude. And I meant to tell you, so I actually, I'm not know if you're familiar with, last name Weinstein. Are you Jewish?
Yes.
Okay, so I am.
guess.
Yes. And so I'm Greek, and we have our Easter this Sunday.
Right.
And we base our Easter off of the Jewish Passover.
That makes sense.
Yes. And so I was supposed to be fasting and not eating like meat or dairy this whole week, and I haven't.
Right.
But then when you told me you're bringing pizza, I was like, I got to
just
do
a
it,
little
bro.
bit.
I got to do it. Now, I didn't necessarily have to eat 4 slices.
Right.
But, you know, when in Rome.
I think, yeah, when exactly.
broke
or
the seal,
Greece.
dude.
or
When in
whatever.
Greece. That's how the saying really went.
Did you just? I think if you yell "Opa" and spin backwards, it's
Turns back time.
yeah, you're good. All is forgiven. Yeah. So you like the pizza?
No, it was fantastic.
It
Now,
was
I was amazed just the fact that you have had the amount of success
Did
you've
you
had
just
in such
have
a short
those
period
on
of
you,
time.
or did you like make them real quick?
We made them
before
real
coming over
quick.
here?
We
Oh,
made them
shit,
real
okay.
quick. Yeah, I was down at the shop, so we
You,
shot back up.
I looked at your Instagram earlier, and you had 20.9K followers.
Yes.
On Instagram, and then I looked at it like 10 minutes ago, and you had 21,000. So you've actually upped your game just in the past since you've been here.
Yeah. Well, we were at like 21,003 followers, so it might have been. You lose a couple, you gain a couple.
You lose a couple, you gain a couple.
But we've got some followers. I mean, we've had some success with the pizza. The whole thing's been like, I'm very good at marketing. I come from the events world, selling a lot of tickets, marketing, but it's good pizza. And like, I think that, yes, I can get a lot of followers, but it'd be 21,000 people bitching about how my pizza sucks.
Yeah.
If I can curse on here, right?
Yeah,
I
that's
curse
fine.
all the time.
Of course.
Of
course. Now, how did the do you have a location, or is it an office in Marketplace down in Power Plant?
So we have a location. We have a full pizza kitchen. This started out of my
Yeah, how many
kitchen at my
months
house.
into
So It's crazy. So the whole story,
Because it still hasn't been a year since
No.
like you started,
And
shit,
it's
which is wild.
June. I was selling out of my house. June, like almost all of July, June and July. And I was just like, at one point, I was selling 100 pizzas a week out of my house.
Out of your
Like,
house?
How does that?
Christ.
Literally, like 4 in at a time, like cooking and boxing them, like meeting
Damn,
people
do
in
you have, like,
parking
more than
lots.
one
like
oven? Like,
no,
what's-
it was
oh my
it
God.
was not sustainable or scalable.
Oh my God.
And I remember that one week I hit 100, and I was like staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning making dough, like waking up in the morning to go drive around and look for ingredients like cheese. And there was actually a flour shortage.
Yeah, so this is
in the middle of the
mid-pandemic.
pandemic.
Yeah.
There was a huge flour shortage you can read about. So
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, there was one point where I'm like, I can't get flour on fucking Amazon. Like, I don't know where to get flour. Like, it was like a straight up
Yeah, I
flour
remember, like,
shortage.
Eddie started like milling their own flour.
Right.
'cause
Like
they
it
didn't
was
have
literally
it.
like
It was
people
insane.
were milling their own flour
Yeah.
locally. like think about that. like it's the dark ages. We're milling our own flour again.
So did you literally have like was there like a place for sale that you were just like, this
No,
is
I
it?
was like meeting people in the giant parking lot near my house in Annapolis. I was like driving up to the farmers market up here, meeting people. And it was like, first it was friends. Then friends started telling friends and people were posting about it. And it was like this sought after thing. And then like strangers were hitting me up like, I want to buy a pizza. Like random people that I was Facebook friends from 10 years ago that I don't know who they are were like, oh,
Yeah.
I'll buy a pizza. Like come to my house. Like, so I was like driving. I would like have meetings and be like stopping on the way to a meeting and like dropping pizzas off at people's houses that I'd like map. I'd be like, oh, I'll be in this area. I'll be in Columbia on Wednesday. I can meet you over here and you
Yeah.
over here. Like, and so then we did some ghost kitchen stuff that, it was
What is that?
ghost kitchens when you either take over an existing space in an existing restaurant or put some equipment in an existing restaurant. A little gray area and
Yeah.
do stuff in there. And it's a little gray area. And we did that for a while and it was sketchy. And then I hit up the guys at Power Plant who I've worked with for years and I've known forever. And they had the pizza at that point. And I was like, what do you guys have? Do you have a commissary? I wanted to still do ghost kitchen stuff, but have like a real commissary. And they were like, we have a whole pizza kitchen that's built out and like has equipment and it's ready to go.
Are you serious?
And I was
shit.
like the old Joe Squared in Power Plant.
Yeah.
It was Two Boots, then it was Joe Squared, then it was Charm City Pizza, and it's just was sitting there with equipment since 2019, since January.
That's what I was going to
2019.
ask is how
Yeah.
how you quickly were able to find not just a location, but like that location.
It was
It's
just
like,
built. It was like you walked in and it was like we had to add some equipment, get it cleaned up and inspected, add some shelving and stuff like that, and get our pans in there, and we were good.
and I guess the timing behind that. I mean, when did you get that kitchen in? Like September?
We took that kitchen over. I signed the lease in November. We started work in December, and we were open we did some test runs of like hours around Christmas, and then we opened fully. Literally everything was shutting down. We were opening.
Yeah.
And then we opened fully, I think December 30th was like our grand opening. And that was like a shit show. Like, obviously, you're learning your operations. How many doughs can you sell? What can you do? And like, so we went through that process for like a month where we're like, what can we, like, hey, what can we do? We were selling out of dough. People were cursing us out, writing bad reviews because they're like, I couldn't buy a pizza for 3 days in a row. And I'm like, there was a day when we sold out of doughs before we opened. Like, it was like
Oh my
Sunday. We had like 100 doughs left from the week. And like, all of them were sold at noon on Sunday when we opened because we had online ordering on. And
Yeah.
and we're just like, oh, we're sold out. And people are like, what the fuck?
So, but before I mean, that's a good problem to have. I mean,
Yeah.
it sucks when you first start, but it's like a good problem to have. Is that, oh
Right.
my god, like I can't even sustain all the business we're trying
Fuck.
to get.
Yeah, and it was like we had to figure out how to make more than 500 doughs, 600 doughs. So we had, and it was me making dough at some point. And then I brought in a guy who I've been friends with for years. I could trust with the recipe, who was baking bread at home during the pandemic. He cuts hair. He was bringing me bread for pizza. And I was like, Dave, you want to make my dough? Because you obviously can make dough. And he's like, I'd love to make the dough. And that was it. Now
You
I'm
obviously
all right,
can
we got a
make
dough
dough,
guy.
bro.
We got a dough guy who like, so we found like we were just it was a hodgepodge of people. It was people from the concert industry. We opened, there was only a couple people with restaurant experience out of like our staff. Like I had people who like had pizza experience, but had been working in the concert industry with me forever. I had my marketing girl from Steez Promo, like, and box office manager. She came in and worked the bar because she could bartend. Like, who else? We got one girl, Angela, and a guy, Carlos. Carlos worked at Soundstage and was like a porter in a bar back and worked the kitchen there. And like, he didn't have any work. And the owner of Soundstage was like, can you give him work? I'm like, bring him over.
So that's what I wanted to get, because I want to talk more about this pivot. I was unaware that this was a pivot.
Yes.
But your original like background, your main thing for how long were you?
I've been doing concerts since 2000. I threw my first rave.
There you
like
go.
A real rave. Like if you know the Copycat building downtown. Yeah, I threw a rave in there in 2001. That was my first party. It got broken up by the cops. Got broken up by the cops at like 1:00 in the morning.
Is the Copycat still there, by the way?
It's still there. I don't know if it's legal or like great, like what they do there. It used to be. I mean, dude, I used to go to raves there.
Pre-pandemic, it was still like open.
Like,
I don't know what happened to like regulations wise to that building.
I think if you lived in Copycat, I think you're immune to COVID.
I would assume so.
CDC would approve that statement. I'm pretty sure. Like,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Now, were you a DJ?
No, I'm a promoter. I'm not musically talented. I can't play an instrument. I wasn't a good DJ. I just knew, like, I enjoyed bringing music and bringing people together, and that's just kind of what I got. I'm promoting things in college, and I realized I want to do this, and then I started doing it more. Do you remember Sonar? I don't know how.
Yeah.
So
I'm 28.
Okay, so like Sonar, we were
same
we were doing shows at Sonar, and I was managing the marketing up until like 2009. We were doing stuff at Bourbon Street after that, Starscape. I mean, these things go back like 20 years. I was doing all of that, and like so the funny thing was I dropped out of college with almost 2 degrees. I was like, oh, I'm making money doing this. I'm working a full-time job. I'm just going to go move forward with this. And I'm like, oh, man, my job will never go away because of technology. Like, right? Because you're like, live music, that's not going to get replaced by VR for another 20 or 30 years. And then sure enough, I'm like, oh, a pandemic. Should have gone into like supply chain logistics or something. I don't know.
Now, are you from Baltimore originally?
I'm from Philadelphia.
Okay, you're from Philadelphia, and you came down here for college.
I came down here to go to UMBC because I didn't get into University of Maryland.
Okay,
that's how I ended up in Baltimore.
I think that's
Maryland
how
was
ends
always
up. I think
the
that's
choice. That's crazy.
I just wasn't good enough in high school or something. I don't know. I just didn't care enough.
And what did you study at college? What was the reason?
What did I start with, or what did I go into?
Well, I mean,
you want me? I
you're
started
a big
with
pivot guy.
So I started with
Pre-med.
biology. I love biology.
Hell yeah, dude, that's what I started
Until
with.
I took one biology class, and I was like, this is not for me. So then I got into financial economics and history were like my double majors.
Apparently, being a
degrees.
biology major can easily lead to doing a podcast in a garage. I'm gathering because I did the same thing as you.
I'm pretty sure it's
There's like 2 tracks.
Yeah. You can become a scientist or you can do a podcast and talk about cicadas. So yeah, that was, I was at UMBC, was there for a while. Is that a Jollibee? Is that what that is? Is that a Jollibee flag?
Oh.
What's that flag?
This?
Yeah, sorry, I get
My
distracted.
jacket. It's
okay.
like graffiti on the back.
Oh
of it.
shit! I thought that was like the Jollibee logo for.
What is a
minute.
Jollibee?
It's like the Filipino. It's a Filipino food, fast food company, and they just opened in Maryland. They just opened in Wheaton, and they do like chicken and what do they do? They like it's spaghetti is one of their things, and fried chicken are like 2 separate. But it's like the main things on their menu. I think I haven't been there yet. It's fried chicken and like spaghetti and meatballs or something, or like spaghetti and red sauce.
Filipinos are known for their spaghetti and meatballs. They're huge over there, baby.
100%. So yeah, I was at UMBC and then dropped out. And,
The hottest party school in all of
dude,
Maryland.
100%.
You're like, as soon as you walked in, you're like, I can run this fucking place.
I can run this.
Yeah,
Here's what I'll do. I'll throw a rave. There was actually a huge underground culture. It's so funny. I'm still friends with some of the people, but there was a ton of underground culture there of students of like, there was a huge rave scene at UMBC that existed when I got there. And like, I got in with those kids and there was just like a decent underground music scene, like group of kids there. It was pretty interesting. To
I think I did an open mic there once. And they have Fishhead Cantina, dude, which is like, I mean, that's a place.
They do
That's
have
a place.
that.
Did you ever do anything
there.
You've never been there?
I've never been to Fishhead Cantina.
I mean, you want to throw a fucking rave, baby.
That would be fun. Let's go.
Fishhead? I don't know. Do you play there, Jimmy?
I've played there one time or maybe twice, like a long time ago. And then they had like
It's
a
like a
stabbing
weird
there.
setup.
Yeah, it's very strange. I mean,
It's
it's
like
huge.
in a neighborhood.
What did it used to be?
Behind like a
Did it used
tag
to
and
be
title
something, or-
place.
That's
I think that's everywhere
like
in
everything in
Arbutus.
Arbutus.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
It's like beautiful Arbutia, home of the title tag capital of the world.
You got a car? Bring it on down to Arbutus. Carbutus, baby.
Oh my god. So yeah, I tried to stay out of Arbutus unless we were buying liquor underage.
There you
that
go.
was
I mean,
typically why you went into Arbutus as a
Also
UMBC
underage
student.
liquor
Yeah.
purchasing capital of the world as well.
Yes.
Drinking and
They
driving,
accept
baby.
Any ID in Arbutia. So yeah, it was and then I just started doing music stuff. I just never really thought I'd be unemployed out of music for anything other than my like poor management of the business maybe, but like there's not really you don't get bounced out of music unless you take big risks and do stupid shit when
Yeah.
you're as established as we were.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, how
And,
many
like,
years strong is Moonrise?
Moonrise was going on year 7. Steez Promos, we've been doing shows for 14 years, and I've been doing shows in the business for 20 years at this point, and I still do. The first agent I ever booked a show from, I'm still like really good friends with him and book shows with him. So
your affiliation with Moonrise is
Yeah.
you are the like
I'm the
proprietor?
executive director and like one of the partners at Moonrise.
Was it your like idea? Like the
Moonrise Festival. It was a group idea to do a festival. There was a whole story. I don't know if you remember when it got canceled. Remember that
was
story?
it recent?
2012. No, like it actually, like we were like, oh, we're doing a festival, and like somebody in our group who was in our group at the time forgot to get permits. and didn't-
Classic.
Yeah. And like said, oh, I got it. And then the city's like, you don't have it. And it was, so like that was the first year. So that would be 8.
So that was
past year that got canceled would have been 7. So it's 9 years because 2012 was when 2013 was when we tried to, no, it was 2012, I believe, that we tried to do the first one. And it was like, I don't know why my hands are up in the air. I feel like Ron Burgundy. Bobby.
Jumbling up your
I'm
thoughts.
like,
You're
I
trying
don't
to
know
find
what to
them.
do with my hands.
2012.
What do I do with these? So anyway, so it's been a while, but it's been broken up at this point now because we canceled the first one. We can't like the last 2020 got postponed to this year. We're waiting on guidance from the state, and we're trying to figure out what we're going to do this year.
That's what I was going to ask you is like now that you've done this, now that you've gone this pizza direction, like is this like a bigger passion for you, or is this like
I'm going to do both.
Okay.
So fortunately right now it's like with everything shut down and we're starting to book shows for the fall, we're in this position of, all right, now we can build this how we want to build it and scale it up. I have the pizza business. We're trying to set that up to scale as well. And we'll structure everything I'll be between two businesses, but not as heavily relied on for the events business, so that we can so that thing can kind of run itself with the right pieces, and we'll scale that, get that back going. And I think we're gonna do less show. We were doing a lot of shows, like we were doing 300 concerts a year, something like that.
all in
Jeez.
Baltimore?
Over. No,
Or all
It
over?
was like 8 states, 11 cities, like all up and down the East Coast, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Norfolk,
Yeah.
Virginia Beach. And I mean, there's some weeks where we'd have 7, 8, 9 shows all over. Some of them we don't have to run. We buy them and the club runs them or like whatever. But it was a lot of shows.
So as a promoter, because this was always fascinating to me,
Yeah.
is that I've never understood like the concept of marketing. Like
Right.
it's such a crazy concept
Yeah.
to me. And like what impressed me was like how quickly you were able to build what you had in June of last year
Yeah.
to being what it is now.
Yeah.
And it was only after that I found out that your history with Moonrise and things like that. But when you're first starting out, especially back in 2001, like there's no real internet to promote it on or anything like that. Like, what are you doing to build that show?
Dude, I was putting flyers on cars. I saw somebody putting flyers on cars up at the where's that Haverty's Furniture over there the other day?
Like
And I,
recently?
like
That's
2
old
days,
school.
like 2 days ago, and I was thinking,
Oh shit.
not for events. I don't know what they were putting on cars. But I saw a woman putting flyers on stuff, and I was thinking, damn, I used to do that to get people to show up to things, and you're putting out 10,000 flyers on cars.
But that was more standard back then.
That was like standard or standing outside of a club and handing out flyers. And then there was bulletin boards where people got together. And you know how there's drama on Facebook?
Yeah.
There used to be bulletin boards where rave people would get, and I'm sure other sections of like community would get together and just bitch there. But that was the original Facebook. It was just a community bulletin board where some people of like mind or like interest go and just fucking talk shit to each other and get banned by moderators. It's the same thing. The thing is, Zuckerberg just consolidated, and now there's one moderator.
bulletin board. Yes, dude.
One moderator. But that was how you got people out. And if you had, and you go and hang posters on college campuses. We used to get chased off of Towson's campus all the time and banned from there for hanging up posters. And
Me too.
UMBC allows you to hang up posters, so that was good. I went there and I was allowed to.
Yeah, UMBC's like, please do something.
Do something here.
Anything. We need something.
Get these kids to go out.
103% of our school is commuters. We need something.
So it was, yeah. Jesus. So it was, that's how you marketed back then. And then it changed. And then there was Friendster. I don't know if you remember Friendster.
I've heard of it. I've heard of Friendster.
Friendster,
MySpace was cool.
Yeah.
And MySpace was where we really started to see, all right, you're using an actual platform to market things at scale, but they couldn't figure out how to monetize it. And then Facebook's like, let's do MySpace, but like make money.
Yeah, MySpace was really, I mean, it really is the perfect example how they always say early bird gets the worm, but it's the second mouse gets the cheese.
Yeah.
You really got to pay attention to. I mean, MySpace pretty much
MySpace was crazy though, because it was like Facebook, but also SoundCloud. Like
Yes,
a lot
Oh, yeah,
of,
you
like,
had the
bands
music. And
blew
you
up
could
on
edit your
MySpace.
page. Like we had one of the first guys, he's actually local, this guy Nate, and he figured out early like you could take the page down and like write your own HTML to build out a page. And he did a page for a couple artists. And we got a page from him, and like it was so we had like the custom page with the top and the skin or whatever, and like
You had
our
the music
and,
autoplay when
yeah,
you loaded
and,
up.
and then we like went and we started buying up bigger pages. Like I bought the Baltimore MySpace page, the one that was like Baltimore 35,000 people. We bought the Baltimore Music Network, and we were like, whoa, we could just buy pages for like $1,000, $1,500. So people don't care. They didn't know what the value was.
Yeah.
This was
Then
the
we were
dot-com
selling
boom.
top 8. So then we'd turn around and be like, yo, you can have your event flyer in our top 8 for like
Dude.
$50 a week.
Damn.
And so we were like doing this shit where we were like charging promoters to like get the act. It was like we were Zuckerberg for a minute, and then Zuckerberg became Zuckerberg.
oh man.
But like we took
So
that.
you've always just had a fucking business.
That was
mindset.
weird. Yeah,
a
but
hustle,
it wasn't.
That's
Who
crazy.
knew? Like, I didn't know what I was doing at the time, but looking back, I'm like, that was pretty smart to be buying up the scale and then controlling. We'd have when you have. Remember, you go on MySpace and
Were
it's
you
like
doing that
top
through like
8,
Western Union or something?
right? We were PayPaling. No. So we would when you go in the top 8 and it's the same flyer on 8 different profiles. If somebody looks at the Baltimore and goes, "Well, what the fuck's that?"
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, let me click on it and see what this." And GIF fly. Remember GIF flyers
Yes,
that were
yeah.
like, "Oh, they're flashing." Like we were doing all that shit back in the day. And then Facebook. It's funny because I was like totally resistant to Facebook. I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to switch platforms. We're gonna stay on MySpace. I remember my friend who was like one of our promoters at the time, Amy, was like, we need to be on Facebook. This is the next thing. And I was like, no, MySpace. And then I was like late on Facebook. And it was really stupid. And I look back and I was like, man, I was really late on this.
Were you ever able to? When did you join up Facebook? Like what year, if you can remember?
It was probably, it had to be before we left. It was probably 2009-ish, 2010-ish, right?
Okay,
When did they,
that probably
it was-
2008 is when I remember.
maybe it was
That's
a
like
little
when
later.
parents were getting into it.
I feel like I remember getting invited to be on Facebook. I remember even who invited me. It was Molly Crawford, who I'd never spoken to really ever.
She thought you were cute. That's what she was
I don't think anybody thought I was
some
cute.
swimsuit pictures.
Oh yeah. I think I probably tried to look at her picture. and-
Tubby Jimmy Selesky.
yeah. Oh yeah, trying to look at my swimsuit pictures, dude. But I still recall, dude. But yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know. We're probably on Facebook like 9th grade.
Well, I don't remember. I remember
2006.
for a while it's weird to think about. Like I watch old YouTube videos, like they used to have like before Vine and stuff like that. They had like skits and stuff like that. And they were talking about Facebook. Like it was at one point as poppin' as like Instagram is now. Like that was where you talked to girls and met people and stuff like that. And I
Well,
feel like
Facebook is like a given now. I feel
Yeah.
like.
yeah,
I
it's
feel
like Yellow
everyone
Pages.
already has it, so it's like no one talks about it.
I would
And
say
also, it's kind of stale. Facebook's stale
it's
now.
stale because I do think parents got on it in like I want to say like 2014. Because I remember for a while Facebook was a shit. Even in college, I was all about Facebook. But and back then it was still easy to like the thing that was cool about MySpace and a lot of these social media platforms that just butt up is it is kind of it is like the Wild West. Like you were able to do what you did with MySpace, like buy up stuff like that.
Right.
And then once enough people crowd the sphere, everything becomes like impossible. You can't do anything on Facebook.
No, and
now,
it's
dude.
like, I mean, it was, I currently can't even advertise for my account right now because I posted a meme last July that was like making fun of people who thought 5G gave you COVID. And like, it showed me the meme and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't care. Like, cool, take it down. I thought that's what they were telling me they were going to do. And then they were like, your account is now restricted because I didn't fight it. And I was like, well, I just thought, okay. And so like, I had to create a new account. It's very sensitive right now what goes on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they own
And you
Instagram
can't-
too.
And they own Instagram, but you can do more. The thing is, they want to scale to a certain point, then they want to charge you for everything. So right now, Facebook's in the, we're almost charging you for almost everything.
Yeah.
But we got to let you have enough engagement, but we're going to, and like Instagram's still in the, well, I can fucking hack this system and get things to happen without.
Do you find
paying for it.
success? So do you not do any paid
No,
advertising?
we
on
do.
Instagram?
I do, but it's very specific. It's with a certain purpose, but I know I can get a lot out of for free. I mean, a lot of our engagement is for free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, how did you run across us? I remember you like hitting this.
Maybe you liked an ad or
I
like,
may have, dude.
but I looked at it and then I listened and then I was like, these guys are kind of funny. I could sit and do this.
Yeah.
I could put myself through this for an hour. These guys
We did it for
but-
the pizza.
that's what I think. And it's like,
that was
I'm like,
great.
I can get free publicity for pizza.
Free advertising.
Yeah,
Fuck
dude.
yeah.
Free.
I mean, dude, a radio station tried to sell me advertising yesterday. I was like, I'm going on a fucking podcast that gets more listeners than you for pizza. Fucking pizza. You're a fucking radio station. No one listens to you. Shut
Yeah,
up.
dude.
Shut up,
What
dude.
radio station was it?
I don't want to throw them under the bus because
Okay. TMD.
No, I like TMD. TMD's cool.
TMD is cool.
Yeah,
That's somebody you could advertise.
We're talking about doing some stuff. They're gonna do some events down at Power Plant. So I was like, let's figure out how to do that together. Yeah, it's just like I'm trying to think. Oh, so then I listened to you guys and I was just like, this is just like two like good old Baltimore County guys just talking about Baltimore County shit. And it's interesting because you listen regionally. If you listen, it's like you know everything you're talking about, like everything. I'm not even from here, and like half the shit that's like inside jokes, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I've been in Annapolis for 10 years and I still get all of it, and it's good. Like it's funny. I thought you guys are kind of funny.
Thank you, man.
I don't know if you were trying to be funny. You just were funny.
I don't want to say we're trying to be funny. I guess.
I'm trying to be funny sometimes.
Yeah. Like this specific sentence right now, I'm not trying to be funny.
Yeah.
No.
I'm just saying.
We've
stuff.
also just like, I think what clicks about our podcast too is that we've just fucking known each other for like,
Forever.
ever.
yeah, like
Yeah.
18 years maybe at this point. I don't know.
Now since
Maybe
you
not.
No, I think it
16.
has been. I think we met in middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah, in middle school. I thought that it maybe had something to do because you like hit us up right around the time we were doing that like bracket thing for like the best bars.
Oh,
around.
and I was following that for a minute too because it was interesting to see who was like destroying who.
Yeah.
And like how it was the Fed Hill bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just
I
it
like
was
cursed out banditos on a podcast, and now I have a gig coming up with them like next
nice.
next
so they
month.
booked you. You cursed them out, and they booked you.
Well, my
They're like, you're playing out by
No
the
one
dumpster.
send them the clip.
Yeah, do not send.
Like they're not listening. Fed Hill is not listening to this.
I don't think we're a
Somebody
big Fed Hill podcast. Apparently, we're a big power plant podcast, dude.
They
People-
might. Fed Hill might be listening to the radio.
Yeah, they might. They might. Fed Hill loves the radio, dude.
So yeah, I mean, it made sense. We're doing some stuff out in Towson. We were doing pop-ups. At the point, we're probably going to do another one in May.
So how many pop-ups a week? You do something.
So we're doing
Montgomery.
one a week right now. We're getting ready to announce we're working on a couple new leases. We're gonna be opening some new spaces soon. I'm going hard. I'm nuts.
shit.
Like, but my whole thing is operations. So I'm like, look, we can organize the playbook. You put the pieces there. It works, and then you have backup pieces, and then you're selling really good pizza and a lot of it. And it's not cheap pizza; it's expensive pizza.
Are you thinking about opening up one in Towson?
I would really love to open one up in Towson because I live down the street from it.
Oh my god, that'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be
Well,
awesome.
also,
So
I guess-
we are looking at a space in Towson. Yeah.
Opening up a bunch of different ones to kind of like lessen the load, because I feel like the main one downtown, it's like, all right, everyone in the surrounding area goes to it and
Yeah.
slams it.
Right. Well, it's not just that. It's also like people from like I feel like when everything opens up, that's going to be we're going to have power plant. It's going to be really like crazy down there with what's going on in Power Plant and some of people coming there. But we have to be like people from Towson aren't going to drive down to Power Plant once everything's open.
They do. They have like
to
rally
go
of
to
the
Power
hours.
Plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that. But like saying like we're getting even just people driving from like, you know, different parts of the city. You're not going to want to go deal with. You're not necessarily going to want to go deal with the Power Plant unless you're going to Power Plant. And with all the people going to Power Plant just to be at Power Plant, Rams Head Soundstage, Power Plant itself, you're going to have that situation where like we don't know what we're going to be able to do. So it'd be cool to have something in Towson where like people from Cockeysville, Lutherville, Timonium can go to, and they don't have to feel like, and even just a little bit off the circle, so they don't have to feel like, hey, we got to fight with the circle. We got something with like quick parking. So we're looking at a space right now, and we're hoping to.
You know where I really wish you would open up a pizza place is in Fells Point.
Because
they have no good pizza.
Well, so we actually have a shell. I have a friend who had a shell there.
The gas station?
No, like no. A shell of a
gas
property.
Station pizza restaurants. We're competing with Rofo now. Okay?
We're in the Wawa Rofo.
Think Royal Farms, but pizza. No, it's it just needed to be renovated, so he's working on it. We're gonna open a spot to help us with some of the carry out and delivery out. So it's gonna be in Fells Point, on the edge of Fells Point.
Dude, thank God.
It does need. There's Bop. I mean, I've been eating at Bop forever.
I don't want to talk shit on Bop.
I've heard it's gone downhill. I haven't had it.
Taste
recently.
like anything.
It used to be really good when I was a kid.
I'll take your word for it, dude. I'll take your word for it.
15 years ago.
I'll take your word for it. I've never been impressed with any. A lot of the stuff down there is like not nearly as good as.
It's just dumb. There's been a lot of places down there that it was just dumpy for a while, and I feel like it's crawling out, dude. Poppy's Tacos, though.
Oh yeah.
Shit, but they have one in Hamden too. You don't need to go all the way down there for it.
Yeah.
I've been at both. That place is good.
Yeah, Poppy's is good.
Yeah. What else is in Fells that I like to go to?
Like food wise, they have Abbey Burger.
Abbey Burger's cool. Okay. Yeah, like Abbey Burgers. I like their vegetarian and vegan burgers are really good. Stuggies is cool.
The hot dog place.
Yeah, they're
But they don't really have many like quick spots. A lot of it's like sit down and eat.
What's the hotel?
And then they all just have bar food.
Admirals?
No, the nice one on the
Sagamore Pendry.
Sagamore Pendry is. They have some good. That restaurant in there is.
Oh, that place is dope. I feel like I'm not even allowed in there though. Like I literally, I
What'd
think
you do? What'd you do?
Not make enough money. Okay. That's what I did. I did nothing. With my life. And therefore,
someday we'll get you booked to tell stand.
Like I play across the street at Riptide where I belong. Yeah. I get stuffed in a corner.
But a nice date. Take a girl there. You can go the pasta there. I ate there before. I stayed there before for Moonrise because I was living in Annapolis. So the week of Moonrise, I'd stay up here. I stayed there 1 year. I did not pay full price. I had a hookup because I had like friends or whatever. And I ate there and I was like, the food is I thought their pasta was some of the best pasta in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
They have the best. Well, actually, let me rephrase this. Or by rephrase, I mean let me completely reverse what I was about to say.
We backpedal real quick. Let me agree with you. Now that you said your opinion, I'm going to change mine.
Now that you finished your sentence, allow me to recalibrate my thoughts. There are two pools that stand out to me as the best pools in Baltimore.
Yeah.
And one of them is the Merritt pool top, like on top of the gym in Canton. That place is fucking awesome.
I haven't been there.
Dude, it's so great. That place, I mean, probably not a great place to open up a pizza place.
But a great place to sneak in.
There was
great to sneak in.
It's funny. It's fun. That place, I don't think I'll ever go there, even though it's nice now. But they used to have a pool at the Merritt. Do you remember, like the not on the rooftop pool?
Oh, the one that was like inside.
The old one, yeah. So they used to do like EDM back when like EDM promoters were kind of the outcasts, and like there was like the other kind of club style promoters, and we were kind of like looked down on, and like there were dudes throwing the EDM parties at that pool. And like they were doing like house music, not even house, like progressive and stuff. Yeah. But no, what was funny is I was like, it's a fucking gym pool. Like what? Like you guys you're doing Sunday at the fucking gym. Like I don't know. Like
are they sneaking in at least,
so cool.
Or like they rented it?
It was like so bad, and I was like, this is so like I was like, yeah, this is like fucking douchey, but like it was so funny. We used to just make fun of it because it was like cool. Like I promote at like hard ticket clubs. You promoted a fucking gym.
You're
pool
throwing a Sunday rave
like,
at an indoor pool, bro.
It was like Saturday night at Merritt.
You've had to have a situation like that though.
What's that?
Like where you're just like down bad and you're like, I just gotta do this.
I
event.
guess
Like,
there's probably what's the worst gig I've ever taken where I've like taken the money. I can't. Oh, there was this place. Do you guys remember Palma? It might be before your time.
I don't think
No,
so.
where was it?
There was a place. It was on Redwood Street. It was the old Redwood Trust, and these guys from DC were like, "We're gonna open a Miami style club in Baltimore," and I was like,
Where is
cool.
Redwood Street?
Redwood Street is downtown, like up. I think it's either half a block north or half a block south of Baltimore Street, but it's like this
Yeah, it's,
club.
like, tucked
This is
in.
one of the
It's
oldest
only, like,
buildings
3
in Baltimore.
blocks.
So this
Oh, okay.
this club was like one of the only brick buildings when the Baltimore fire happened. So it was one of the only ones that survived the
Nice.
fire. So it's like already cursed. There's
It's kind of by that like weird Chinese restaurant that's been there forever.
it's not now.
on
It's a
the corner.
Krusty Krab or something like
Oh,
that.
really?
It's like I saw a sign at some point. I don't know if they actually changed
Oh
it.
no.
But like 2 blocks up from the harbor.
Uncle Lee,
basically.
yeah. So it's right around there. But these guys were like, "Oh, we're gonna book the world's best DJs in Baltimore," and like then I just remember we like got a gig with them, and I was like, "These guys are fucking losers. Like this is clear. Like we're not gonna get paid for this gig." And I had to threaten one of them one night. I was like, I'm gonna fuck you up if you're not. And I'm small, but I was like, I'm gonna fuck you up if you don't pay me right now. Like I see money out, you're gonna give it to me.
That's dope.
And
dude.
he was like, all right. And I was like, cool, I got the money. Like,
Damn,
I got
dude.
700 of the 2 grandios. That's cool. Like, but those guys were like the worst. And I've never seen this in Baltimore before. It might happen somewhere. It might have happened before. They held the line like in Miami where the club was empty and the line. And we're like,
Oh, for real?
I'm like,
Just
there's
building
not
up.
enough people outside to hold the line that you just let them in to like,
Yeah, you're
get
gonna
the club.
disappoint all of them.
there's such a disconnect in a lot of that industry with promoters and stuff like that. I mean, like
They're like, we want to look cool to the people driving by. It's like, or we could just like make the people who are here happy by
Yeah.
letting them in the club and drinking.
Make them want to
and
come
like
back.
maybe
or-
take enough money to pay everyone, including myself.
yeah.
How about that? Here's
There's
the
just
idea.
simple like realities of doing business that I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
so many I feel like so many places they say like what's the success rate of a new business on how if they're going to make it out of the first 3 years.
Probably less than 20%.
It's low.
It's gotta be because everyone's got 7 ideas and 5.
Yeah.
5 of the ones that they actually execute, the 5 they actually execute, all of them fail. So,
But so much yeah, well exactly. But like
Exactly.
so
Wait, can I
much
throw a quick sidebar real
Yeah.
quick? Was pizza ever even an idea?
okay,
or was
so
it
it
literally
was.
just
So it
like,
actually was.
people
So
hit me up?
There's actually
and-
it's funny you say that. So I was running this festival, Lost Lands. Have you heard of Lost Lands?
I think so.
Giant dinosaur base rave in the middle of Ohio. It's fucking awesome. Like life-size dinosaurs. Like
oh shit.
like literally like Excision runs it, who's like the biggest of base.
yeah.
And he's like, the first year he's like, I bought these fucking dinosaurs from China. And we're like, what? He's like, yeah, I bought. How much did you spend? And we saw the number and we're like, what? And these fucking dinosaurs came, and they came with like laborers who like knew how to put them together. Cause like, but those
Like,
guys
in the
didn't speak
box?
any English. Not in the box.
These guys are
They
from the
flew over
Cretaceous
with,
period,
like-
dude. They know how to do it.
Literally, cavemen came out.
fucking
No.
crack
So
the
like
seal.
these guys that spoke no English, like came over with these dinosaurs that were like fabricated in China, and like they had skin, and the skin feels like rubbery, and like it's these. One is like a 4-5 piece like Brachiosaurus that's like 70 feet tall, and these guys had to teach everyone, the production people there. There was like 3 or 4 of them. They had to teach them how to put it together with we had no translator. They did not know how to speak any English. Nobody knew their
Yeah.
dialect of
Native
Chinese.
tongue.
I'm trying to think. It wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Mandarin.
Cantonese.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's the only
what.
one I know.
I just remember looking for a translator or somebody, and we couldn't find one.
Not
It was-
one guy knew how
It
to
was like it's
No one grew
expensive.
up
You would
on
be
the
surprised how
dinosaur
expensive it is.
compound in China.
Now there's like apps for it. My friend hasn't showed me at dinner the other night. He's got a thing. It's just a screen, and you like log in through your phone, and like you pick your language. The person you're connected to through a Wi-Fi like thing through like a API picks their language, and you sit and talk into your phone, and it shows up in their native language in front of them and speaks it. And then
Oh
you can
my
sit in the
God.
app on your site, and it literally, he's like gonna try and sell this to hospitals and police stations and all that. And it's literally right there. You like share the link, you put in the person's phone number, you share the link, and you can literally have a conversation like this in each person's native tongue.
That's
Jesus
unreal.
Christ.
Crazy. But back then, like 4 years ago, we didn't have apps like that.
Oh,
So-
you're talking about 4 years ago.
Yeah, like 4 years
The
ago.
lost ages
So,
of 2017.
So yeah, it was like so anyway, I was doing Lost Lands, and there was this vendor. I don't remember if it was the first year or the second year. Detroit style pizza company. I tried the pizza. I'm like, this is fucking incredible. So then the next year they came back, and I probably spent $300 on pizza, having full access to catering, full access to the artist catering, all RV with my own food in it. And I spent $300 on these pizza
It's
because
like
it was
8
so
slices.
good. So I was like,
8 slices and a Coke.
it was like 4. Yeah, right? So I was like, I want to do this. At first, I wanted to bring them out to Moonrise, and they were like, we can't make it. And I was like, why don't I just do my own Detroit style pizza? I can figure this out.
Yeah.
And I never got to it because I've been just busy. Like, we're throwing shows. So the pandemic actually gave me the opportunity to start messing around with it. The intent was we did Fright Night, and the intention was, we're going to do Detroit style pizza at Fright Night. And we just,
Fright
the
Night.
guy I was talking to about doing it with, like, couldn't get it together. He was a chef. He did a bunch of the food at Fright Night. And it was just, we just never got to it. So,
Yeah.
like, the pandemic happened, and I had my opportunity. That was
Yeah.
it. That was,
Well,
and the original idea was do it as concessions. Figure it out and do it as concessions at festivals. I have access to that.
and now you can
Yeah.
incorporate that
Yeah.
in now
I can
and be
sell
just a
pizza on
fucking
corner.
pizza rave mogul, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
holy
literally do drops. I'll have like 50 people waiting in a parking lot to see me. Like random, like outside of a Pizza Hut.
Like, damn,
in Craw-
Petco is
we
popping
have
tonight.
Yeah, and like people are like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, Pete, some dude selling pizza out of his trunk.
Oh,
Like, we
no.
don't even have a van. We just pull up in a car, like sell it out of our trunk.
Well, P. Diddy tweeted this a while ago, and he got a lot of flack on
Yeah.
Twitter for it. But it said, if COVID didn't bring out the hustle in you, you don't have it. And he got a lot of flack for that because
Where's the lie?
there isn't a lie. But the problem is that, it's Twitter. And so a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, you just don't understand the things people are going through. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, it's like you take a person like who was affected more by this pandemic besides people that like fell ill and died.
Yeah, of course.
But as far as like jobs go, who was affected more than the people in the live entertainment industry?
Yeah, I
and
mean,
or like just any industry that involved public outing.
Right. I mean, all of it, like any kind of entertainment that involved mass gatherings or large gatherings or medium, small gatherings. I mean, we haven't, but like all of these industries that deal with entertaining people have all been affected. But every industry, I mean, I have this conversation every couple of days with someone. I'm like,
Nice.
you realize everybody's going through PTSD right now.
Yeah.
Unless you live in some town in Texas where they just never.
Yeah,
They
no
were
one
like,
even got
what
sick.
pandemic?
Yeah.
But like I'm sure there's areas of the country. I remember driving through an area on the Eastern Shore it must have been June or July last year. And like the restaurant, you could tell the restaurant was at full capacity. And like, I was like, they have one traffic light and you're like, they don't give a fuck.
They don't give a
here.
fuck.
They're like, nobody's stopping nobody's bringing it in because nobody's coming to visit
Yeah.
this town.
Yeah.
And like, so but other than that, everybody's had some kind of trauma. Hospitals overwhelmed. They have too much work. Everyone's so easy to like post on their shit. Like, oh my God, look at this fucking thing I did. Like I donated to a homeless guy. I gave him a slice
Yeah.
of pizza. We literally do that shit. Fire departments, police departments, or Office of Emergency Management, homeless shelters, women's and children's shelters. We do that shit all the time. Like anytime we're taking pictures of pizzas, we'll call somewhere and be like, hey, we're going to have like 10 pizzas. Can we bring them to you?
Yeah.
And like, we don't post about that shit at all. Cause I'm like, ugh. But back to the fucking story. Everyone's going through that trauma on their own. And like, we've been like, Diddy's right. Like if you were out of work and you're sitting there and you're not like, where's my, like, I have a friend who's making fucking rugs who was like an administrative assistant for like one of the highest people at Live Nation Philadelphia. And she literally just started making these fucking needlepoint rugs and they're awesome. And I'm like, damn, you're like a rug magician now. Like, I don't know what is a rug person called?
doctor.
Like a rug, like, but like your hustle, like, what are you going to do? Like, I had just had a baby. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm going through it. Like, obviously, I'm going through a traumatic experience, but I'm also like not stupid and going to sit here and be like $300 a week is going to take care.
Well,
of
it
me.
is a
Like,
it is a broader
like,
kind of just like life philosophy.
Right.
Really, it's just like, I was watching something earlier. What was I watching earlier? Tim Dillon had Jordan Peterson on. It was an interesting podcast. That
Yeah.
was a good one. But they were talking a lot about just like, how, or I think they were talking about how Lil Duval was saying, like, look, life is going to happen.
Right.
You can't control what happens to you, know, but you can control how you react to it. Something like this, like a pandemic, completely out of our hands. There's nothing.
right. And it's
it's
the
affecting
mindset.
everyone.
Very early, I got in the mindset. Everyone's like, oh, it's so bad. Like pity almost. And I'm like, everyone's in the same fucking boat. It's not like we had bills to pay that, like our landlord, who happens to be Merritt, our landlord,
Nice.
they've been super understanding. I'm
Great
not
pool,
talking
guys.
shit about them, but at first they were like, we need to and I was like, get money for what? I was like, I'm like, guys, like we've been a tenant since 2012.
Yeah.
We've never missed a payment. We've never been late on a payment. We renew it whenever it's time to renew. We're just like, yeah, whatever. We've got 2 spaces with you guys. We fucking like, we'll be back or
Yeah.
we won't. And you're not getting anything anyway, but it's
Yeah.
not like you're leasing out an office space in the middle of a pandemic. And like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, God, like, and now we have Save Our Stages coming. There is a bailout coming we just put in our application Monday. That just opened Monday at noon. Hopefully we get it. I think everyone's going to get it, but
In a very fucked up way, I think I said this before in the podcast, but the fact that it did happen to everybody
Yeah.
made me like not care as much. Like if it was
Yeah.
just happening to me,
Yeah. If it was
Right.
like
Just like-
swine flu and you were
Right.
the only one that
They
got it.
right.
you
Like,
can't
fuck.
perform anywhere.
Right.
I'd be like, well, what the hell?
But it's also like, what are you going to, I've seen it with artists where like artists just like didn't do anything the whole pandemic. I'm like, and the guys I'm watching as a buyer and like guy buying talent, like, all right, who is putting out music? Who's doing stuff? Who's on their social media? Who's not? Because guess what? Like, you're going to be forgotten. It's
Yeah.
not, you can't just decide you're going to do shows again. The fees are going to change.
Yeah.
Like, you're not as relevant to the guy who's been doing a fucking podcast or not a podcast, like a live stream every week.
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
just DJing for fans
Yeah.
and doing stuff to
The people who adopted this kind of philosophy over the past year, like, oh, the world was put on pause. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, as much as people want to like say it is, it might make them feel more comfortable with the fact they haven't been doing shit. But it's like the world wasn't put on pause. We just got thrown a loop.
it didn't stop, and it's like, yeah, it disrupted your shit, but like everybody, I mean, early on, yeah, it was very depressing. Those first like 90 days, it's hard. Everyone in my industry was playing Call of Duty. We all literally, it was like therapy for all of us. We're like, when do you think shows are going to be? June, July? I mean, I had shows that came down in March and were rescheduled for June. And there was like, I was on the pandemic early, like January 3rd, I think I read my first article. January 22nd, I remember looking it back to see what the date was. I texted my friend who runs a venue in New Jersey and I said, we're going to lose festival season. And he said, no, we're not. By like early February, I'm like calling like our medical director for Moonrise and being like, and he's going, no, like it doesn't spread outside. He does Burning Man. He does like Madison Square Garden. He's like, look, I don't believe it's spreading outside. It's closed environments, blah, blah, blah. He wasn't sure. It was still early on and everything. And he's like, and it's not here yet. It was like before the first cases here.
Yeah.
And then I just remember the night my son was born in February, like I was literally sitting there reading the news. I went to get dinner while he was like, the labor process was happening, but they were like, it's going to be after midnight. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go get dinner and read. I was reading the news and I'm like, man, we're fucked. Like this is really like it's coming.
Yeah.
And then it went from like one show canceled because a UK artist couldn't get in to like everything came down. And then like some shows were last minute holdouts, but it was like clear they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how quick? So, I mean, you basically, as soon as that first show was canceled, you were like already thinking. Was it born out of like necessity for money, or was it just like you needed something to do? This pizza thing.
It was not like I needed I was getting to the point where I needed money. I made a couple smart crypto plays early that I lived off of, like
Nice.
August, September, like Voyager token, which I'm still in on heavily. This is not financial advice.
But I'm investing.
Voyager token. It was a great app. I bought in at 16 cents. Between 6 and like 16 cents. I had a ton of tokens.
I'll put 16
And
cents in anything.
And
dude.
it shot
Anything.
up, and it shot up in like midsummer, and crypto did really well in midsummer. And so I had a little cash, but it was like clear that like this was going to go on longer than anyone thinks.
Yeah.
And it's also going to end quicker than anyone's going to think at the point that it's coming. Like, I think we're going to be open in June, July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, so I was like doing it for fun at first. And I had a friend, actually, that first agent that I booked a show with, who I'm still friends with, and his wedding even got postponed because of COVID.
Yeah.
Like, he goes, I'll pay for you to send me one of those, freeze it and send it. And I went, this is truly the story. In my head, it went, bing. I could charge people for pizza, sell them pizza. And I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. So I like would just post, I have 8 doughs, 10 doughs, 12 dough, 50. And it was like, then I had like friends buying them out in Montgomery County. I'm like driving a car full of pizzas out to my friend's bar, meeting all my friends from out there. And we're all having a beer and like I'm bringing them pizza. And this was like July, August. And then it was like, that's really like, it wasn't, the first pizzas I baked was not with the intent of selling pizza and going in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened and I saw it and the pizza was good enough. If the pizza wasn't good enough, we wouldn't be sitting here. I would have done a pop-up or something, sold some pizzas. Everyone would have been like, your pizza tastes like shit, like quit.
Now that's something that I think perhaps myself definitely would like to hear the answer to this, but probably a lot of people that are trying to do something in general is like on a percentage basis, like 80, 20, 70, 30. How much does the actual quality of the product matter versus the ability to get the word out? Like, because there's a lot of talent out there.
It matters. I think it matters. There's a way to sell. Like, look, I could sell a pizza that costs $1.50 to make, $3 to make, and it's not that great. And I have a place I sell it from, and there's something else I'm selling it from. Like I'm here, I'm gonna give you a really good beer, and you're gonna buy this shitty pizza because
because you're gonna be drunk.
But I think I did things kind of ass backwards. No real restaurant experience, no business manager's experience for restaurants. I was like, this is what I want the pizza to be made up of.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this
you
is
had
what we
like a
have to
good
charge
pizza.
for it to be at least in the range of, I mean, to be in the range of a, like what food costs and what it should be, like we're right in there.
Yeah.
But it's an expensive pizza to make. But what's funny is I get into these philosophical discussions with this guy Bob from Bob's Pizza Tour. There's like this it's called the $8 slice. It's like the New York's $8 slice, but it's the best. Who's going to pay $8 for a slice, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you start to talk about it, you're like, the best pizza, you'll pay $8 for a slice if it's the best fucking pizza, right?
Yes.
So that was my thought. I'm like, I'd rather just be the best fucking pizza, and I'll sit there and tinker with things and be like, this salt. At one point we were using salted butter in the pan, and I was like, the whole sodium profile of the pizza was off. We're like, get rid of the salt.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like the parm. We switched our parm to a lower, like a parm that had a little bit less salt. Like things like that. If you're not doing that, like you're just not. You do that stuff. You have to market for that first try, though.
Well,
how much has
spending
it
the money on the
changed?
pizza doesn't matter. I think the money spent on the marketing and the money spending on what you're making are two different things.
yes.
But I'm spending the money to get that person to try it once.
Yeah.
Because I know I'll get them again. And I can if I need to retarget a little and spend a little more later, that's fine. But we know we're the best pizza. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, there are two, and it's weird, and I've learned this a lot. I would say I grew up like middle class, maybe on the underside of middle class, lower. I grew up in a row home. I was I never wanted for anything or anything like that. Yeah. But both my dad was blue collar, self-employed, painting contractor. My mom was a mortgage owner. Neither one of them went to college or anything like that. And it took a while for me to kind of see, because I always was kind of playing music gigs and stuff like that. I would always try to price myself so that maybe I could undercut the competition. Like, oh, this guy's charging $200 for a gig, I'll charge $150. And there really are two separate markets, and I feel like it took me a while to learn of the other market. And the other market is kind of what you're talking about. Like, there are people there, just like, and this is something that it was in actually. There was an excerpt I read that actually, regardless of what you think about Trump, there was an excerpt I read that he was talking about when he was building his first apartment buildings in New York City, and he was building this big thing in Manhattan, this penthouse stuff, and at the same time there was this other apartment building getting built.
Yeah,
and the top selling penthouse in that building went for $1 million, rental. And all of his staffers were saying, okay, so what we got to do is we got to try to edge him out. Let's make ours 950,000 or something like that.
Right.
And he was saying no, because the people that are paying $1 million
Right.
for a place, they're not worried about the money.
Right.
They want to be able to say, I have the best apartment
Right.
in New York City.
100%.
When you're Ralph Lauren owning a penthouse for $1 million and there's another guy in the market that's looking for a penthouse, he wants to say, yeah, Ralph Lauren's only $1 million. I paid 1.2 for this, because there's two separate markets, and you can decide how you want to edge yourself in there. If you want to be the budget pizza or the budget music guy,
and that's what. And we decided early on. I was like, I want to be a premium product. I don't want to sling like shitty pizzas. Like, God bless them. Like, there's some okay pizzas out there that do a good business and they sell a lot of pizza. That's not what I wanted to do, and like I wasn't willing to sacrifice it. But we also. This pizza allows us to get into things. We get into things like local, we get to work with awesome local farmers. We get to experiment with flavors that you won't see at most places. We get to do seasonal stuff. And like, that's fun. Like, I think that's the fun part. Is
and there's a certain amount of bravery that comes with that too.
Yeah.
Because, like there's always the fallback of, well, if I take a gig for cheap, like if somebody pays me $150 for a gig, it's like, well, I could probably start a little late.
Right.
Maybe I could take a break that's a little bit longer than regular. And if they say anything, it's like, dude, you pay me $150.
Yeah.
But when you start charging,
God damn it, Banditos.
I'm taking a long break at Banditos, dude. We're doing a live podcast at Banditos during my set.
Yeah.
But there's a certain amount of pressure you put on yourself when you decide I'm going to be a premium brand. Like I'm going to say, hey, yeah, you can get this you can get this pizza from fucking Papa John's for $10.
Right.
I don't know how much you charge for a pizza, but
you can get a similar pizza to our $22 pizza for, I think it was $16 at Pizza Hut, Detroit style. I did a drop. I sold 55 pizzas in the parking lot outside of my friend's liquor store next to a Pizza Hut. Literally line around the block. And then I said, well, we're here. Might as well go try it. And I tried it and I was like, it's not even worth the $16.
yeah.
It's shitty dough. The fucking pepperonis taste awful. The sauce is not good. Cheese is whatever. It's just cheese. It's hard to fuck up mozzarella cheese.
Yeah.
They came
I'm
close.
saying,
but
yeah,
it was
I don't
just
know.
like, but for 14, I could see it, but I'm like, and I could have crushed the entire thing. These pizzas, I can't eat more than half, and that's if I'm starving.
Now, how do you plan on dealing with, because if you're talking about opening up multiple locations, I think when we talk about things like Illuminati's, like you got to imagine all these like even a place like Papa John's, like that, like they start out as one place where the guy is hands-on. He has everything to do with the entire process from going to the oven to taking it to your door.
Right.
And that is that guy's vision. That's that guy's passion.
Yeah.
You start expanding and then it becomes further and further removed from the...
I think you have to have a playbook for that, and we're working on that now. We're not going to sacrifice that quality, and then it's also, you have to sit there and have a core team. Like, obviously, I can't do it myself at this point. I'm trying to get the concerts going. I've got really good people in the kitchen, got really good people at front of house. We're obviously having growing pains. Like, that's part of it, is me extricating myself from the day-to-day rigor of it. But at the same time, being involved in all the flavor and going over it and looking at something. Even your pizza came in tonight, and I looked and I said, that's not enough vodka sauce on that pizza. And like, I have to go talk to them about that tomorrow, and we have to get standardize those things. And like, and he might have been rushing, and it might have been, it's the end of the night. It's
You might have been rushing, dude.
Yeah.
Drinking all that vodka, dude. Couldn't even get on the pizza.
But it's that's going to be a tough challenge. But it's also, I come from an events world where we look at scaling and systems and operations, and it's all that too. So you have to kind of set those things up for success, and it's not going to be perfect at first, and we have to go easy. I can go into a place and say, look, we're going to open for the first month. We're only going to sell 100 pizzas a night. We're not going to try and sell 300, because you try and sell I'd rather sell 100 perfect pizzas than try and sell 300 and have 50 pizzas go out that are bad, or 10 pizzas go out that are
And
bad.
that is a business model. I mean,
right.
I look back at, I don't think I've ever even been to a restaurant like this.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they exist. I've seen them on TV.
Yeah.
And a lot of those places, they're just like, look, this is our menu tonight. We're serving this, and this First
Yeah,
course
it's
is
pretty-
this, second
yeah.
course.
Yeah,
And like,
it's a tasting menu.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go into another place like Cheesecake Factory where they have every single
Everything.
possible thing you could imagine.
You would. It's crazy to think about Cheesecake Factory because I can think of all the times I've been there and I read the whole menu and I order the same thing every time because it's so overwhelming.
Jimmy used to work there.
Oh, which
You
one?
had to do
I worked
like
at the Columbia one first for a year, and then I worked at
Nice.
the Towson one for a year.
Do you know Bagel?
like the guy?
Eric Stevens?
Yeah, I actually do.
Oh, he's a friend of mine. He worked there. I remember he worked there.
Oh,
Yeah, I've
dude,
known-
I know. Okay, is he involved with
Race car bed.
Race car bed?
Yes,
Yes.
that
I
is
think I
Bagel.
asked him to come on the podcast a long time ago.
Did you? And
Yeah.
he said, fuck you. And now we can be like, yo, fuck you, Bagel.
Well, I
I'm
think
gonna
at
make him
first,
listen to
I think
this.
at first he said something along the line, like a much nicer way,
Yeah.
but like not.
He's not good with talking.
And then I think I hit him up like 2 years later.
Yeah.
When we had like 3 more listeners.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, how about
We're
now?
at 6.
And it never came through. Is he still doing music?
Yeah, he still does music and he's got some stuff going on. Has like a wedding DJ company too. And like, I love Bagel. I talked to him.
Maybe I'll hit him up and just call him
so.
Bagel and see what
Yeah, be
happens.
like, yo,
dude.
Bagel.
Yo, Bagel.
That's funny because nobody knows him as Bagel, but he's literally in my phone as Bagel. I've only known him as Bagel.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of the things you're doing, like I was talking earlier about like how many businesses go in and they fail.
Right.
And there's so many businesses, I feel like if you could just grasp like certain baseline, easy, common sense concepts of how to have a successful business, you can make it.
Yeah.
Like I remember I went into this one place when I was like 16. Check. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Mandarin Taste knew I was about to throw him under the bus, dude. They hacked us. Mandarin Taste is like, what did he say? Do not tell this story.
Hacking.
We're so good. Cool. So I went into Mandarin Taste when I was like 16. It's right next to the Royal Farms in Towson. And they gave me food, but they didn't give me a fork.
Right.
And I was like, yo, can I get a fork? And they were like, yeah, it's a nickel. And I was like a douchebag 16-year-old, so I flipped a quarter on the desk and grabbed 5 and because it's like whatever. But there's certain things. It's
He
like
sold 5 forks that day.
yeah, exactly. But like here's the
He
thing:
upsold you.
he made 25 cents off that altercation,
Yeah.
but I never went back there again
Right.
because of that interaction.
Yeah.
And there's little things like that, like you're talking about, like. People seem to have this weird concept where they only see the the myopic kind of view of things. Like,
Yes.
I made $10 here. And it kind of goes back to what you're talking about with, being a show promoter. Like the guys that were running that Miami club downtown behind the Uncle Lee's or whatever, those guys were so focused on, we're going to make X amount of dollars tonight and try to put on this.
Make it look cool. You're put on the show and it's not, there's no depth to it.
That they miss the entire like core concept of what makes people actually want to go and patronize your business. It's like, okay, Mandarin Taste, you made 5 cents on a fork, but you lost a customer.
Right.
When you do those things where you make 10 pizzas and give them away for free,
Right.
you might have potentially made 10 new customers for one free pizza per person.
Right, and we'll do stuff like if we make a mistake, it's funny because like I'm the first one. Like if we fuck up, like I'm like, yo, refund, like we'll send you a new pizza, like come get it. Like we had a mistake. It was funny. It's one of my bad Yelp reviews. And the girl, I still have to reply to the girl, but she like came into our pop up. She had ordered super early. Typically the orders for a pop up come in the week in between the last pop up. Mm-hmm. She ordered before this. One pop-up, the person entering the list of pre-orders didn't see that it was for the following week. So they made the pizza. They texted her, your pizza's ready.
It was the same guy who did the permits for Moonrise.
Yeah, right.
He's like, oh, fuck.
She's like, yo, that's for next week. We're like, oh, shit. All right, cool. Don't worry about it. Like, we made the pizzas, but we'll make them again next week. Something happened. I don't think it was communicated on to the person who does the list. Hey, this was for next week. It didn't get on the list for next week. I happened to be there. I was just hanging out, doing some work at the Point. Girl's sister comes in to pick up the pizza. We're missing one of the items to make one of the pizzas. So we're short of one of the pizzas. And then we hadn't made it. So we made the pizzas. I refunded the whole order. So it was like a $110 order. I'm like, just take all the money back. Give you your pizzas for free. Sit for like 20 minutes and have a drink at the bar. We'll buy you a drink. And then the girl whose pizzas were went on and gave us like a 2-star review.
What?
And she was like, they refunded the pizza that I didn't get. And I was like, whoa, you got a full refund. Like, and
Yeah.
I was like, why are you shitting on? Like, obviously we made a mistake. We owned the whole mistake.
Yeah,
You're a
you made
Yelp elite,
accommodations,
and you're
too.
shitting on it. And then she's like, well, like, it was just, I was like, damn, like, and I tried to go, and at the point that she wrote the review, I was like, well, then fuck her then. I don't really want her as a customer. She's from Towson. Of
course.
I hope she listens.
Of
So,
course.
no, but the whole thing was like, I'm like,
Was her
yes,
name
I'll do
Irene?
whatever. I'll
Actually.
answer. What's your ex-girlfriend's name?
My ex-girlfriend's name is Ricky. But my mom's name is Irene.
But for me, I was like, I want to save this. I want her to be happy. I want her to get free pizza. I don't care. We made a mistake, whatever. Eat the pizza, get free pizza. Sorry for the 20-minute wait. And like buy you a drink, total. And okay, now you turned around and just shit on us. Instead of like sending a text and being like, yo, that was really fucked up. And we would have talked and like, I would have tried to work it out with her. You just go public with it. Like, and she's like, this is an accurate review. I looked the other day. I'm like, it's still not accurate. It said something like, oh, they didn't have half the pizzas that we ordered. It's like, no, you ordered 5 pizzas and one of them we couldn't make. And I refunded you for all of them. And like, but at the same time, I would have done that for any customer that we made that mistake for. But at the same time, you were an asshole on Yelp. Now I don't fucking want your business. I don't care.
Yeah.
I didn't get into I didn't move from concerts to pizza to be like, okay, we're bickering over pizza. First we were bickering over concert tickets and something, and now I'm bickering with people over pizza. Like, I just wanted to have fun and sell pizza.
It is kind of a scary. I'm lucky that this hasn't happened to me yet in really any real.
You got a bad Yelp review for your stand-up?
My stand-up, baby.
I want to write your podcast a bad Yelp review. You know?
Do we have any bad reviews on the podcast yet?
I don't think so.
I've
gonna
got
write
some
it on
bad
Yelp.
ones in person.
The closest that you've had to that is the guy that was trying to get you like canceled from some of your gigs.
I heard about that on one of your things. What'd you do?
I just kind of very similar to what you were talking about, how you were canceled off Facebook for making like a meme about something. I would just share a lot of like.
Jimmy's an instigator.
Yeah.
Or he's
He
a
stirs the
former
pot.
instigator.
Yeah,
on
I used to
Facebook.
stir the pot a lot on
Yeah.
Facebook before I completely gave up on Facebook. But there was this one guy who we went to high school with who like contacted every single. Well, first he started at the Point.
What was the oh, that's right, it was the Point. I remember it was like, and they were like, hey, we just want some distance here.
And then the Point just kind of brushed it off.
Right.
And then when he saw that they brushed it off, he contacted the Point again, and then along with every other place. So he like went to my schedule.
He's got a lot of time on his hands. Was he a concert promoter? During
No, he
COVID
works at a
too? No,
nonprofit.
what was the meme though?
He made a collage of memes that I made.
He found all your memes.
He
that
like
had a
went
problem
through
with?
the course of like 3 months worth of me posting on Facebook.
He sent
Just-
like a zine of
Yeah.
Jimmy
Yeah,
Selesky Facebook posts.
What is that? Where you post pictures of things? It's what's that website?
Tumblr.
He started
Tumblr.
of your
Yeah.
Jimmy tweeting.
Yeah, pretty much. But and I reached out to him personally and tried to mitigate the situation. I was like, dude, do you want to meet up and like grab a couple beers we can talk about? Because again, this is a guy who went to high school with me.
Right.
We were actually kind of decent friends in freshman year of high
Right.
school. We used to go to Orioles games together and stuff.
Yeah.
Like my dad would drive me and him alone down to the stadium.
Right.
We would just sit in the student section. And like what stood out to me, what was the most disturbing was pretty much every place, I think all but one place that I played at, just called me up. A lot of them never even mentioned it. The ones that did mention it just called me up. We talked about it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, this guy seems like a nutcase. Like, I thought they were funny, blah, 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 blah. Like, shit like that.
Right.
But what stood out to me was like that there really are people, like that thought never crosses my mind to try to ruin somebody's livelihood. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah, you never set aside like 2 hours to ruin someone's life.
You know, I'm all about like going at like people who are pieces of shit. Like, yeah, whatever. But when it's just like about a meme or something like that, like, or a bad Yelp review. Sometimes those things just say more about the person doing it than it does about the person who
the
posted
5
it.
to
Like,
10 shift at the horse.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's like
Let me
clearly
have
I'm
it.
not killing it as we already. Like, damn, dude, like clearly I'm hanging on by a thread, and you're gonna try to take that from me. It's like, why? I don't try to take away.
I just
your
want to tell
nonprofit.
jokes.
Yeah,
They cut my pay to 6 beers instead of 12. You
I
piece of shit.
don't even make money, dude. I just developed alcoholism for this business. But like that,
that's crazy.
chick-
And that's to take it to that level. At the point you're like, yo, let's just meet up and talk about it. I mean, what was the topic of the memes? Do you know?
There
What
were
was
there
the
were it was a
thing?
variety of different things. It was like,
and you're a comedian, so it's like
he's a
lot of them-
stand up. He's a
Yeah.
stand up comedian. I
I
play
do
music
comedy.
for a
you
living.
play
He does
Okay.
music. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
So he was trying to cancel my music gigs. I play a lot
Got it.
downtown, like at the Horse. I play at the Point
Yeah.
actually, and like CNR and stuff like that, all around.
Right.
High tops, all those random places.
Yeah.
I've done a couple places
That's
in Annapolis. I
crazy
think.
to go. Like it's a local artist. You're like, I'm gonna.
Yeah.
what? I don't.
It's like, dude, this is
I
my
can't even
full time
ima-
job.
I
like,
can't even
legitimately.
imagine what you'd have to post a meme about. Like how egregious it would have to be to like
It really wasn't.
get someone upset. That upset. No, that's what I'm saying. Like this guy was just upset. He was mad
Yeah.
you didn't take him to the Orioles game in 10th grade.
Probably, dude.
Probably.
Probably, dude. Yeah, it was just fascinating to see how there are certain people, like with that chick who left the Yelp review. It's like on your thing. It's
Right.
like you realize that this, like, it's one thing to say like, okay, like if I go to a place that I didn't have a great experience, I just won't go there again.
Right.
Like I'm not going to try to take away their ability to make money unless they went out of their way and were like really fucking shitty, and people that I was like, oh, like this person, like, he didn't make half the pizzas, and then when I said something about it, he said, well, go fuck yourself. We made you 3 cheese. We got you a beer. Go on
Right.
your way. It's like when I see it, somebody like made a mistake, which is a thing that happens, especially somebody who's just starting out. You're already trying to operate way beyond your means.
Oh, 100%. And doing
Yeah.
things like look,
You're doing it at a
we did
pop-up.
it at
It's
a
not your
pop-up. It wasn't like
restaurant.
our restaurant. We
Yeah.
we didn't have an ingredient in a
Yeah.
pizza we sold you.
Yeah, I
It's
can't
like you
make
ordered
this
a
with
pizza
bar
2 weeks in
ingredients.
advance and we
Yeah.
missed it, and like we'll just give you pizza for free because we're
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. It's like, dude, I'm running a
And
pizza
then
place
she's
and you're
like,
trying to.
no, we're gonna take you out on Yelp.
This it is kind of like a power thing where people kind of like they
It is.
exercise that
It's
power.
I read through some of her reviews. Like it was a power thing. It's something else is going on with that girl.
I
She's
think you
not
should
happy.
respond to that. And,
I do, and I want to point out the inaccuracies in her thing, and then explain to her like, look, I got 9 more 5-star reviews
Yeah.
since you're shitty.
And I think that would be helpful.
still
Like
a 4.8, motherfucker.
what you got to do in those situations, I feel like, is like you gotta be the cooler person always.
I'm always like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah, and you gotta. Yeah,
I like
fucking
How
so-
dare you attack us?
I've
One
never
girl was
even heard of you.
We had a bad Yelp. Let's talk about bad Yelp reviews. I got some bad Yelp reviews that we own. I'm
I'm
just like,
sure.
yo, we fucked up. Like, sorry.
You
we're
guys, I'm
fixing-
sure, like,
we're
speed
fixing-
running bad
Yeah, like
Yelp reviews.
Super Bowl. We had a fucking
This was Lansing style.
We literally Super Bowl busiest night of the year. We had a pop up going on that night too, sold out in Montgomery County. We're doing busiest night of the year. We cut our orders back because how many we could take in a 15-minute window because we knew there would be more pizzas per order, and so you can't mitigate that without like you just have to lower how many orders you can take. And everything was on track, and it was starting. We were ahead, and then it was starting to catch up to us, and one of the ovens broke at 4:30.
Oh my
And we
Jesus.
limped through the rest of the night. Like I got it back online after about 30 minutes, but like we limped through the rest of the night, and I was like, we fucked up, right?
Yeah.
Like every customer who complained, like we're still like I'm getting ready to add a 3rd oven. And when that happens, we're sending gift cards to everyone who ordered that night. It's like, hey, sorry, we fucked up. And we wanted to wait till we had a 3rd oven on the line before
Yeah.
we invited you back for free pizza.
Yeah,
But so that whole thing, like, I was just like, we'll own it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we're refunding orders. We're doing whatever we need to do to make people happy. But then I have a girl who's like, another Yelp review that was like, I ordered the cheesesteak pizza. Cheesesteak pizza comes with steak, provolone cheese, fried onions, sauce on the side.
nice.
Her complaint was that it didn't have sauce on top and peppers. I'm like, it doesn't come with that. If
Yeah.
you wanted it, you could have sent a note and been like, hey, can you just put my sauce on? Put
Yeah.
the sauce on. If you call and request, like, well, we can do an add-on for like adding the peppers. Like, we're getting ready to add a bunch of add-ons. But like to write a bad review for a pizza that didn't come with the things that wasn't supposed to come with, like that you didn't ask for. But
Yeah,
you
like-
got sauce on the side. The John comes with the Philly cheesesteak pizza comes with sauce on the side. We just thought it looked better without just throwing sauce
Yeah,
on it.
yeah.
Just thought
That's
it was
fine.
cool. Like it looked like a cheesesteak. You wrap it up, eat it, or put the sauce on it if you want, or dip the sauce, whatever you want
Yeah.
to do. You can do
Philly
whatever
style,
the fuck
dude.
you want with
Dip
the sauce.
that shit.
She could have taken the sauce and put it on the pizza. It would have been like
That is such a stupid complaint.
I can't. I like read it and I was like, am I really like getting a fucking 2-star review or 1-star review because the pizza didn't come with the things we
But
didn't
also,
say
like,
it came with?
your shit has the description.
It
So
like
it's like-
literally no picture. She's like, she wanted green peppers and like I'm anti green peppers, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
but you're
they
also
taste like shit.
You're not a
Yeah, they
sub shop.
suck on pizzas,
Yeah.
dude.
Dude, green peppers are awful. They taste like dirty dishwater.
Now pepperoncinis though, banana peppers.
That's good. That's good
Yeah.
stuff.
Fuck banana
Or-
peppers?
Are you
I fuck with
into,
banana. I like hot
spicy
peppers.
stuff?
Oh yeah, we're working
Ooh.
on our own hot sauce.
Ooh,
A pizza hot sauce.
could-
There's
I
only
could help
one I
you out
know
with
about.
that.
Eric's a hot sauce extraordinaire.
So we're growing an heirloom variety of a Calabrian chili at our the farmer that we work with, and then I'm gonna cut it with some habaneros and like make it a little bit more balanced, and then do a fermented pizza hot sauce.
If you
And
need
let's
any
go.
extra hot,
We're gonna put your
peppers,
face on the. We're gonna put your face on the bottle. It's
I,
gonna be like, that's not. It's gonna. That's not funny hot sauce.
I have I'm being real right now. I have a plot in my backyard in the city, and last year I grew like 350 like super hot peppers.
What kind of
You need
peppers
any-
were they?
So I had chocolate. What did I have? I had jigsaws. I had these things called lemon starbursts. It's like this YouTuber who makes hot pepper
Are the lemon
crossbreeds.
starbursts the citrusy ones?
So no,
That's-
so it's a mix between a Scotch bonnet and a.
He's on like phenotypes of peppers. Like we're talking
Yeah.
weed right
I'm
now.
talking about
You just haven't had the right strain, dude.
like-
Capsicum Chinese.
yeah,
Um,
that's
a
awesome.
Scotch bonnet. So that's like
Yeah,
a
no, I know the Scotch
Caribbean,
bonnet. Yeah,
and
yeah,
It's
no,
a
I'm
mix
very
between
familiar,
that
yep.
and a Bohemian goat.
Yep.
And yeah, it's very fucking good.
Wow.
It's very citrusy. It's
Yeah.
very fruity, but also like very hot. It's nice.
Nice.
What was that pineapple? You gave me a pineapple one once.
Oh, the Sugar Rush Peach.
Yes.
And it was spicy.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
Wow.
it's like it's
I've never even
crunchy.
heard of these strains.
It's
and,
crunchy
I'm
like a bell pepper
Yeah.
and very sweet, but
Yeah.
it's like as hot as a habanero.
on the back end, so it's
Yeah.
like yeah, that's nice.
It's very
Nice.
nice. Yeah, yeah.
I'm growing. I got some fish peppers I'm picking up on Sunday.
Those are
I
nice.
love.
Those
I
are,
think fish
like,
peppers are
native.
cool.
They're good.
It's a cool story with those, and
Yeah.
like you can get. I think we were doing on that spicy sausage. We always add pepper flake to the spicy sausage when we cook it. We were getting fermented pepper mash, like dried pepper flakes, from my friend's hot sauce that he was making fermented peppers, and it was the best. It was like this, a little chilled out, but a well-rounded kind of like it had a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, well, if it's like the mash after the ferment, then
Yeah.
it's already like been broken down.
Right, and it was
like-
just a cool, like nice little spice, but it was just this nice, well-rounded flavor. It was, I love peppers. I like
yeah.
spice. You seem
I'll,
like you're
I'll
on a
send you a
higher
care
Scoville.
package.
You're on a higher Scoville level than me. But
Well,
Yeah, dude.
I like just like a regular spice too.
Yeah.
But that's like the thing. Like my baseline now is like a regular
chart.
spice all the time.
yeah,
Can I make a pitch here?
yeah. Let's go.
I'm not a big pepper guy.
Yeah,
I got lost in the sauce in this pepper conversation. I'm still on the lemon starburst right now.
yeah.
I was like, damn. I found out starbursts aren't vegan, by the way, this week.
Yeah.
It sucks. But
So
completely unrelated.
funny
but-
story about that. I was just joking with one of my friends who eats halal, and he was like eating. I think it was a Starburst or something. It was something with gelatin in it, and I was like, "You can't eat that." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "That's got gelatin in it. That's from a pig." And he was like, "What?"
like, there's certain things about vegan shit, like, and I only am vegan for 1 week. I'm technically
Yeah.
not supposed to be. I'm supposed to be vegan for 40 days before Easter. But
Now,
I'm not
are
doing
those
that shit.
peppers? Are those peppers vegan?
Yeah, they
'Cause
got.
they say
they're
Starbucks.
vegan.
Oh, they're
for
vegan.
They're-
They're for sure vegan.
But there's certain vegan shit that's like, okay, like apparently honey's not vegan.
It's not technically.
like,
not,
dude-
but
Yeah, 'cause
vegans.
of
I was with my friend
bee
who's
labor.
a vegan. I was with my friend who's a vegan on Sunday,
They're
and
paid.
she's a strict vegan. I've known her for a very long time. She never eats meat. Like we accidentally put some real parm on her pizza once,
Oh wow.
and she called me. She's like, "This is real parm," and I was like, "Oh, the girl made a mistake."
One
Like,
star.
Yeah, totally 1 star. But she wouldn't eat the pizza. She gave it to the front desk girl at her place. Like that's how strict vegan she is, and she eats honey.
Yeah, dude, it shouldn't count.
So,
Does any
I don't
dude, any
know-
bees die in the process of making honey?
Oh, I'm sure, but it's what they do. It's just the fact that they're used in the labor of it. I think.
Well, they're
That's what they
simping for
do.
it.
But
They
don't-
simp
what
for
about-
honey,
They
dude?
simp
What-
for the honey. The queen bee has an
They
OnlyFans. All the bees are
Yeah,
subscribers.
dude.
Oh man,
It's all pheromones.
It's true, dude. There's so much
that's
shit that's
true.
just
Like
stupid.
they're
Like
just simping for honey.
when I think of
There's like, oh, I smell pussy. Let me just go get shit.
yeah, dude,
You know,
go
you know,
bring
would
back
go
a
well
bunch of
with that
pollen.
honey.
honey.
Is that why it's called the honey pot?
Yeah, dude, you got honey potted, bro.
Got it.
Yeah, but gelatin is like, okay, I understand you might have ground up a pig's hoof.
Right.
But like,
or something.
Or a horse, you know.
it really is, a horse. That's glue,
like
right?
Glue. There's.
Do vegans use glue?
I don't know if that's still glue. I think that's an old. I don't know. Maybe horses do go to the glue factory still.
Damn.
I'll send Pimlico.
We could easily do away with Elmer's glue, right? Like crazy glue, I don't think is made from horse hooves. But like,
Who uses
I don't
glue
know.
anymore?
that's what I'm saying. We don't need glue. Like
we do,
Elmer's
though.
glue,
Like those boxes are glued together, aren't
not
they?
with fucking that white Elmer shit you had
We
in
don't-
elementary school.
I don't
You
know
don't
if
need that
Elmer
shit.
was Elmer's the horse glue.
Yeah,
Strictly horses.
Are we
Horses, dude.
sure?
Yeah, dude. Elmer's
They're the
was
only ones.
Elmer
the
was
horse-
a horse.
Everyone was
Elmer
like-
a fucking horse.
Yeah.
We need to research this.
Everyone was like-
Elmer's glue. It's made from real horses.
Dude, we could make this glue without killing this horse. And
fuck?
Elmer was like, no, dude, we're killing this fucking horse. And they're like, dude, it's not even as sticky as it
Elmer
should
was
be.
like the horse that was like, nah, guys, just go behind that barn, just check it out. Like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna sell that.
I'm just saying,
What a
like,
shitty horse.
glue and glue sticks, completely unnecessary, dude.
Dude, I think the glue sticks were the paste was. I don't know, man. I gotta look this up. Now I'm obsessed with it.
You're obsessed with glue now?
No,
dude?
I want to know what fucking.
Hit up GlueTube
First
and
off,
just
who the
fucking-
fuck is Elmer?
GlueTube.
Who is Elmer? That's number one.
Elmer's the horse guy.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
He's
Hated
the farmer
which
with
glue
way too many
had
horses.
which glue had horse in it?
I
Which
think they're all made
still
from horses,
does.
dude.
All
Well,
of
I
it.
think
There's
it's
not
the-
vegan glue.
No
I
vegan
think
glue.
gelatin.
It's 2021 and we still don't have a vegan glue.
Yeah,
Can you
dude.
imagine that?
That's
Flint
when
doesn't
you-
have clean water. We don't have vegan glue.
We don't have
It's
vegan
like,
glue, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That'd be if that's true. Crazy if true.
Yeah, even crazier
Yeah.
than crazy glue.
What's
dude.
crazy? It's also crazy that Flint doesn't have clean water.
Well, do they still not have
2021.
clean water?
That's I saw something the other day. I didn't have a chance. I look every couple of years, but I'm like, fuck. It's
Yeah.
like been 8 years or something,
I
right?
know. I
Like,
saw a meme the other day. Still said no water.
yeah, that's you saw it too.
Yeah.
The
there
one
a
that was
meme.
like, it's
There's
been
a meme
since-
going around about
like-
Flint still not having
And like
water.
I thought Elon Musk
a weird
fixed
thing
it
to
at
say.
some point. Like I feel like okay, if you want to have Facebook and sell gasless cars, like Elon Musk and Zuckerberg should have to get together with Jeff Bezos, and like they should go figure that shit out for America if they want to do business here.
What, Flint, Michigan's
I think
water?
like
Yeah.
they've offered. I,
think-
feel like
I
I remember a
thought
billionaire
Elon
was like,
like-
"Let me just do this," and
Yeah.
the government was like, "Nah, we're working on it."
Dude, it's like
What
at a
does that
certain point.
mean?
At what point are you allowed to say it might be Flint government's fault? Like
At the point, it's still not. Well,
they've got
they
money.
might not have the. I don't know
They
how
got
much
money.
that shit
They got
costs.
billions of dollars.
Well, that's
They've been
the thing.
buying
They
a lot
should
of water
get,
bottles.
Right.
The budgets.
Yeah, they spend it on-
Nestle, like the whole town
on Fiji
sponsored it. It's
water.
all like
Yeah.
it's all just like a fucking Nestle's latest like transgression against humanity. But yeah, I don't know. It's everyone's fault who has any say in what is going to happen because I feel like if we can put a guy on Mars, we should be able to fucking fix the water.
You would think. You would
Yeah.
think.
And then it makes you wonder what's going on in Loch Raven.
Yeah, when are they changing their Brita filter? When?
Well, Baltimore has apparently some of the cleanest water in the country.
Really?
We got some clean water.
Yeah. I feel like the pipes are probably fucking awful.
Well,
The
and-
water, I live across from the water treatment facility. It tastes clean.
I don't know. Okay. You live, I know exactly where you live.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in that neighborhood. I grew up
Yeah.
off of Ridge Avenue, right by the Rita Balls florist there. You know where the florist is?
Yeah, I bought some stuff there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you bought Rita Balls.
No.
Damn,
no,
dude.
no.
That's
no.
where the
My
Towson
next
pizza
hustle
spot is.
Yeah. But it's the place right on Hillen Road, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just bought some plants
Hillen
for the
Road's a
garden.
weird road because when you said you live at Hillen,
But
in
it's not
York,
actually Hillen. I don't
not
know
Hillen
what
and
road
Burke,
that is.
bro. That's how I knew you were
Burke.
from
Yeah,
Philly.
that's it.
Only
Yeah.
somebody from Philly would have said that, dude.
Of course. Some asshole lived in Annapolis for 10 years. And our this house is actually owned by my business partner who's like in LA. And we used to have our Steez Promo office in this house. So like he's had this house forever. So I should know it's Burke Avenue.
Oh my god,
It's not new to me. It's just
So
I'm
you
just-
live
I'm just
live
stupid.
on
Hillen.
Hillen.
Technically Hillen, yes.
Technically Hillen.
Yes. But
good-
it's but the water tastes clean, and I'm like, why doesn't it taste chemically?
The
I feel like
water's
we're
not
next,
bad. And
I feel like we're right next to the chemical plant that puts the chemicals in the water. Why does the water not taste more chemical?
I mean, I still
Maybe there's
use
not a lot.
I still use like a Brita filter at my house.
Oh, 100%.
Not a Brita, some like
But
weird.
I have the
off-brand
one in the
shit.
fridge, and I feel like it's probably needs to be changed. But the water still, I've had a couple glasses of like just tap water, and I'm like, it tastes.
I
grew up with.
I
Yeah.
bought that water filter when we first moved into my new apartment
Yeah.
3 years ago, and I have not changed it.
That you should probably change that.
It's
Yeah.
definitely making the water dirtier.
Yes.
charcoal's getting in the water.
I'm
now.
not. Look, I did not stick with biology. I don't know how far you got, but yeah,
We're both
probably.
we're both pre-med. We never made it to post-med. We're both pre-med.
I'm not a water scientist, but
On the
yeah.
bright side, I am immune to COVID now because
Yeah,
I'm
because
drinking.
you're drinking that water, and you went to a Rave It copycat.
Yeah, you've had salmonella for 3 months straight. But
Yeah, dude. That reminds me, I got a piece of salmon in my fridge right now.
Ooh.
That needs to be fucking
Pre-COVID.
changed out, dude. Pre-COVID salmon, dude. That means it's clean, dude.
we've got pre-COVID salmon here.
Do you still have the fucking burger meat in your freezer?
Yeah, dude, but I keep
That's
that shit
You gotta
disgusting.
eat that
frozen. What are you
That's
talking about? Oh, no,
disgusting.
no,
I
no,
don't
no, no,
think
no,
it
no.
holds
Not
that
the burger
long.
meat for my birthday, bro.
Oh, thank God.
Which
Jesus
birthday?
Christ. Like 3 years ago.
No, but I
It was
did.
in there for a while.
I did hold on to that for like 8 months, though, and then I finally ate
8
it.
months into COVID.
Yeah.
Like, I might need this.
Because it's like toilet paper shortage, more like ground beef shortage, baby. Not in my house. Went into my freezer, pulled it out, easily got food poisoning. Like I was fucking lost
Yeah.
for like 2 days, dude.
No.
You do that. Like, isn't it funny how we'll be hungry and we'll do the stupidest shit that gives us food poisoning?
Food poisoning, if you have an easily accessible toilet, not that bad.
I guess.
It's not
Yeah,
that
as
bad.
long as you're
I
not
guess.
throwing up.
Yeah.
As long as it's just like downstairs.
I will
sickness.
take any level of having to shit though. Like sometimes, like when you like fucking, it's like somewhat like fun a little bit.
Yeah,
It's a little
you
fun.
feel like
You
cleared
feel like
out.
you accomplished
Yeah.
something at the end of it. You're like, all right.
You're like, I
feel
can't believe
lighter.
that was in my body.
I feel like I had a relief. There's relief.
Mhm.
There's like it's like starting. It's like the start of something new.
Yeah, and throwing up,
Not so much.
not the same way.
You're back to
There's-
square
it's
one.
relief. It's more like, oh my god, I need this to be over. All right,
Yeah.
I feel better.
Yeah. Throwing
Yeah.
up is a whole different thing because you got to kneel in front of the toilet and stuff. And it's like, I can't remember what age I was when I stopped crying after throwing up, but I definitely feel like that's the mark of a man.
26.
26. 26. I think I've thrown up only one time in the past 8 years that wasn't alcohol related, I would say.
Yeah.
I've only thrown up from being sick like one time. And that's the worst.
I'm trying to think. I feel like sometime recently I got sick enough to throw up, and I was like, whoa. It was like
Yeah.
the first time in like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those are the throw ups where you're like, oh, I didn't even see that coming.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When you're like just like fucked up and you're like, all right, I need to throw up. You're like, all right, I can at least plan this out 5
There's
minutes.
not alcohol
You're like, dude-
involved. When there's alcohol
Yeah.
involved, you're like,
I saw
it's
this
spinning.
coming.
Yeah, your mouth starts
You're like-
salivating and you're like, all
I
right,
gotta go.
I can't swallow this
You're like
saliva.
trying to
but-
explain it to your friends, like I need cold air and a toilet.
Now, I haven't had the spins. When's the last time you had the spins?
So I went to Atlantic City for the Trump implosion. My friend from Red Bull's like,
Hell yeah.
bro, like we're doing an event at a place in a parking lot to watch the Trump implosion.
You know, he
the
was
Trump
all
Tower.
fucking jacked up.
And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go like watch it get imploded. And we what's it called? Went up there and we were just drinking, and I went up to Philly and we were drinking, and the night before, and I had the spins, and my friends are like, let's go to a bar. It's like 11 o'clock. I haven't been drunk in months because
Yeah.
like COVID.
Yeah.
I've been out in months because of
Yeah.
COVID. And my friends were like, let's go to a fucking bar. And I was like, no, like, let's not. Like, and then they dragged me out and I'm drinking. And I was like, I gotta go. I didn't throw up that night, but I had the spin. That's the closest I've come in a while to throwing up since that last time.
Wow, dude. I feel like I literally might not have had since senior week.
Alcohol spins. I feel like the only recent spins I've gotten are off like getting too high too quick.
You get high spins?
Yeah.
If you used to get high and drunk, I used to get spins when I get high and drunk. And then I'd puke. And then those are the pukes that you're like, all right, I just need to throw up and I'll feel better.
But when I'm high, it makes me too closely in tune with how much I'm fucking up my body by drinking.
Yeah.
Like if I threw up from being drunk when I was high, I know my high mind would be like, "You are a piece of shit,"
Like,
which I would never be
we
thinking
have
if I
to
wasn't
quit
high
this.
and that drunk. If I was that drunk and not high, I'd be like, "Dude, you're
like,
awesome."
You're like, I need to quit weed because it's making me think about how drunk I am.
It's making me realize how much of a piece of shit I am.
That's funny.
Good, dude. Have you ever had? So you had the promotion show
Yeah.
at the Miami location, but have you ever had people just, or not the Miami location?
I wish.
The Miami poser guys.
Yeah.
The Miami of downtown Baltimore.
Yeah, and that
as
was
people
the worst
call it.
check I think we've probably ever.
Everybody
been
was
like,
wearing white pants on fucking
Yeah,
Fayette
exactly.
Street.
Exactly.
This is it.
Oh, yeah. Cuban links out.
But have you had any shows just go wrong or anything
Oh my
like
god!
like just
so many shows go wrong. That's
acts
the whole
just
thing.
that people do a bad job or
No, I mean, dude, I had somebody walk. We're not going to talk about who because it's like a nice kid and like mental health issues. Like I don't. He just walked off the stage at 9:30 Club in the middle of his set because he felt like people weren't feeling it. I thought the crowd was
big
feeling
act?
it. It was a good amount of 700-800 tickets sold. And
wow.
he just like
Christ.
stopped in the middle of the set and walked off. And I was like, I don't know. He had a rough tour. He had changed up his musical sound and like. That was bad. I felt bad. It wasn't even me. Like I wasn't like, oh my god. Like I was like, fuck. Like this kid's having a bad day. Right?
Yeah.
And then he canceled the rest of his tour, and that was it. And like he had done like different music that he wanted to be doing instead of like. And I was like, just do it. You're still selling tickets. If people are unhappy with that music, fuck it. But like, just finish your tour and like whatever.
or at least finish
And
your fucking
then-
set, dude.
There was one time, there's many times we've lost a lot of money on shows. We've had big events go bad. We've had small events. There was the one time I remember is like we were doing, do you remember not Pet Shop Boys, the Shop Boys? There
think
was
so.
Party Like a Rock Star song. It was big. You remember that in high school, right?
Party like
It was-
a rock.
Yeah, that song.
Party like a rock
So we
star.
bought the show for Sonar. It sold like 40 something tickets. Standard is like you send in.
Now, what does that mean when you buy the show?
We bought the show. It was our show. We're selling the tickets. We're promoting it. Like we paid the artist.
So
right?
you approach the band. You
Yeah,
say,
we
"We're
said,
going to
"We're
pay
gonna
you,
buy this show,
and
right?"
we're going to promote
Yeah.
it and sell tickets for you."
So
That's awesome.
it sold like 50 tickets, and like I remember my partner went in, and like hip hop shows are really hard to renegotiate because typically you're paying 100% up front, and that's just how the business goes. Because they know they get burned a lot from promoters, so there's a lot of promoters, shitty promoters who have burned a lot of hip hop acts. So most hip hop acts will not take less than 100% up front. You're showing up when Migos came to Moonrise and got rained out. They had already been paid 100%. They didn't give a fuck whether they played or not. Because
Wow. And that's specifically hip hop?
mostly hip hop or other artists who don't like me. I don't book a lot of hip hop. I think buyers who have a big history or have a good relationship, they can get away with smaller deposits. I don't have a lot of relationships with hip hop. So like now if I book a hip hop show, it's 100%, most likely. But we had paid 50%. And I remember my partner went to them and was like, here's the deal. That's it. Like, I'll give you like $2,000 and you can walk. It was like something like he'd give you here's a little bit more money, but we're not paying you the rest of it. Or you cannot take this money and the likelihood of you getting anything else is almost zero because we're not going to pay it because the show bombed. And the guys are like, we'll take it.
I mean, yeah. At what
They
point,
knew. I think when a tour is going bad and an artist isn't selling tickets, they fucking know. And they're
Yeah.
willing. And like, look, if they're smart artists, they're willing to renegotiate at the point that the value wasn't there. Now, if you fuck up as a promoter and you don't promote the show well, then you're fucked. Like if the artist is going to be like, well, you didn't do all these things. You didn't advertise on Facebook or even post
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. What did you think the show was going to do?
You didn't put us
It's
in your
like-
top 8, dude.
Right.
What the
Didn't-
fuck?
You didn't put us in the top 8. You didn't post on the message boards.
You didn't
But
pay
yeah,
us
it's
50
like,
bucks
I mean,
a week.
I've had bad show. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like, but typically at this point, if it's a bad show, you're getting out of it. You know early, and you're like, look, this venue holds 2,000 people. You sold 70 tickets. Maybe we shouldn't do this. And the
Yeah.
artist usually looks at that number and goes, you're probably right. Let's
Yeah.
take it down.
Yeah.
Let's say unforeseen. You see unforeseen circumstances, it's usually.
It's another strain.
Yeah, it's like it's not COVID, not COVID related. So yeah, it's I mean, I've seen meteoric rises and falls. Like I've seen a lot of shit. in my concert days.
It just seems like such a risky business.
It's
you know,
it's a lot of risk, and it's a lot of reward. And the problem, I think the nice thing with COVID, like we're looking at the positive in everything going on with COVID, it's given us a time to step back and say, what do we want to be doing, as opposed to we were literally just booking show. We're just booking. It's like a machine, and like at the level we were at, like there was no time to step back and go. Like there was a show recently that somebody reached out for Baltimore, and it's a show I've done before, and it's an artist. He's not bad. Like there's nothing wrong with the artist, but it's in a certain weird ticket range, and it's not growing, and it's like, all right, it's good music. I respect him a lot. I was like, do I really want to fight over fucking this show for 1,000 cap room that's going to sell 400 or 500 tickets, and we have to spend so much time marketing it, spend bandwidth on it, and like, so COVID's given us. There's shows, and even some shows that like probably would do pretty well, but I look at it and I'm like, this isn't our thing.
Yeah.
It's not the music we want to be promoting. We'll let it go, or I can help you link you with somebody or help buy and sell it, but like we don't want to be doing it.
there is a point when it kind of becomes bigger than you, and I feel like
Right.
you've already. I mean, obviously with the pizza thing, even at this point, it's already kind of gotten to that point, but you were able to kind of keep up with it to an extent.
Yeah.
But like when you're first trying to get the ball rolling, like if you're like an artist or something like that, and you're trying to get into a room and trying to do this, and then all of a sudden, like you get to a certain point, and it starts kind of booking itself. Like people start
Right.
contacting you, and then you just try like you spend so long trying to get the ball rolling, and then
You're like,
after
holy
it,
shit,
then you're
like-
just trying to keep up with the fucking
Right,
ball. You're like,
right.
damn, dude.
And that's
you know?
I think that's a lot of what we're doing, and it's, there's competition and there's other promoters, and we happen to be the biggest in the region, but there's people trying to come up, and we were getting into that tit for, we're gonna buy this show, make sure they don't get it. And now, like with COVID, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Just give it to those guys. Like, let them go fucking deal with it. Like, knowing that, like, all right, I'm in
below
a
your
position.
tax
I'll get it
bracket.
back when it gets bigger.
Yeah.
Like I know the, whatever it is, whatever reason. So, but it's definitely, I mean, the music industry is like that. Like something happens and then you're trying to catch up with it. Same with food. Like, I mean, we were fortunate. We were smart. We were like, all right, we're going to make this many doughs, and that's all we have for the week. We're not going to sit here and try and catch up with it. So it's been that it's gotten bigger to me on some level from like the day to day, but also like the flavor. Like I'm still everything, flavors, execution. I'm in that every day because I feel like I have to be, and I'm going to be for a really long time until someone's like, here's a giant check.
Yeah. Atlas Restaurants hit you up,
Yeah, maybe.
buy you out, dude.
They're coming.
They are the Zuckerbergs of Baltimore, dude. They just fucking make it happen, dude.
Yeah. I don't know those guys too well. I have some friends who are close with them, but
Yeah, I play at a lot of their places.
yeah.
They're cool
I like
dudes.
their
I like them. It's controversial.
I don't know. That's definitely. I know they're very polarizing. I don't like. I have friends who've done some business with them. I ate at their places in Florida. Who my friend had two places with them in Florida. That's my biggest experience, I guess, with them. I've eaten at Tagliata once.
Tagliata's nice.
It was pretty good. It was, the problem. I think the biggest problem with it was like the week they opened. It was like Moonrise week, and we ate there, and it was just they knew, but they like were still working out their kinks. So it wasn't a bad experience. Like, oh, it's a bad place. It just wasn't a great experience because they were still in that first few days. I think it was the first week of service.
Yeah.
Something like that. But the pasta, like food was good. Like I get they're going for their drinks are good at their places.
Now here's a question I have for you. As a pizza guy, other than Underground Pizza,
Yeah.
in your opinion, what's the best pizza in Baltimore?
Oh, man, I don't know. Like honestly, I haven't eaten enough pizza in Baltimore recently to tell you. I used to love Iggy's. I don't know if you guys have eaten at Iggy's. Iggy's has been around. I lived in Mount Vernon. Iggy's was fucking amazing when they opened. I forget the guy's name who owned it. They had it for 3 or 4 years. He sold it, and as soon as he sold it, I got the pizza, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
I haven't had it recently, but it's still very highly rated, so I don't know if they like fixed. It was just the dough was off, like everything was off.
Or if they're just coasting. off
those
the
guys. Well,
reputation.
do you remember down from the point right around there was an ice cream store that opened there and then
Moxley's?
closed.
No, it was called. There's a Wells Fargo now.
It's
there.
yeah. So that I'm pretty sure the owner.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's the one. The owner of Iggy's sold Iggy's because he wanted to do an ice cream shop. He opened that ice cream shop and then it closed. So
Bad move.
yeah, no, I mean Iggy's. He was just burned out on. I remember talking to him on Facebook. I was like, "What, dude? I just had the pizza. It sucks. Like, what happened?" I know you left. He's like, I was just burned out on it.
I'm starting to wonder if that because I used to work at Seasons Pizza for years. In fact, I even over the pandemic I was delivering for them.
Yeah.
Have you ever had their pizza before?
I said our
Okay,
office.
okay. Oh, yeah,
our
yeah,
office
yeah,
with
yeah,
Steez
yeah,
Promo is
yeah.
right next to one, and their pizza's good. Like it's a solid. Like I never go looking anywhere else in Linthicum for pizza because they're right there, and
Yeah.
it's a solid pizza. And I'll do a lot of meetings there because like I can go over there have decent pizza.
Now at the Towson location, they have an ice cream thing there now. They started making ice cream. So I'm wondering if that's like the next step for pizza dudes, where they go into ice
I want
cream.
to collab, man. I'm talking.
Start off
to,
booking raves.
I reached.
Then you go to pizza,
and
then you go to ice cream.
I don't want to do ice cream because there's two places that I think are. You know when you look at something and
Like
you're
Charmery
like, I
or
don't need to
Taharka.
be here. I don't
Yeah.
need to be here doing this. I look at ice cream. We're like, let's do dessert. I'm like, let's just partner with someone and do their dessert. So the
Sure.
Charmery is my favorite right now.
Charmery is
Charmery and Be More Licks, but Be More Licks isn't. They can't do Be More Licks. At
Taharka
another
is
place.
fucking really
What's
good
Taharka?
too.
I have
They
had that. Where is that?
So they're kind of by like Clipper Mill. They have like their factory there and kind of wholesale. But
Are they
they're like
also
in
over in-
grocery stores and shit.
That's where I've had. I've had
Yeah.
it in grocery. I've had it at Whole Foods. Yeah, but like, dude, I think Charmery. Some of the shit they're doing. They have a straw. They had a. I don't know if they still have it. It was a strawberry milk, like Lucky, like with marshmallows. It was strawberry milk with It was strawberry cereal milk with marshmallows.
They just have
It was insane.
the best name, and the name is huge.
The name's good, and it can
Charmery's
work
great.
anywhere because I know it's Baltimore Charm City, but it's kind of like
It can work
it's
anywhere.
Charming, like.
Be More Licks. That's a hard
Yeah.
selling point outside of Baltimore. Like, if you could you imagine like a ice cream
Buffalo
car-
Licks.
Yeah, it just has a weird. Whenever I don't know,
Tallahassee Licks.
whatever it is, I just imagine like a dog licking
Butte Licks.
an ice cream cone. I'm like, I don't eat there. That place is for dogs. I don't know.
This is not to throw shade, but there's a new ice cream shop in Hamden opening from the Baltimore in a
called?
Box people. And it's called like Baltimore in a Box ice cream. And it's like, that's just a long name, guys.
Why?
Baltimore in a box. Yeah, dude.
Well, I think
Can't
they're
put me
like
in a box.
they're like a mail service where they're like, "Oh, you want a Baltimore box?" It's like a
Oh, it's a
monthly
Baltimore
supply
box. Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, there's cookies in there. There's Old Bay chips.
There's fucking
Ice cream.
We're putting
Just
crabs.
melted ice cream and
Like, it's just like
rotten mustard from crabs.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I don't know. When I think Baltimore box, I love Baltimore. There's like a lot of positive things. Like there's some awesome stuff here. But then you just like think of if you're exporting it, what are you exporting? And you're like, all the shitty. Your mind goes all the shitty stuff. We got to get past that.
Unfortunately, yeah, the name Baltimore doesn't bring too many positive connotations.
It's got too many stigmas, and it's just like there's just been bad shit for a long time, and we were starting to see some really bright spots. I mean, I think going to the Smith Brothers and like what Atlas Group's done, it's cool to see what's happened, the investment that's happened in Harbor East. Like it's cool to see how that kind of impacts downtown. And
Yeah.
it's kind of this model, like with the things going on in different places. Port Covington's doing some development.
Yeah.
Fells Point,
Yeah, that
Canton.
shit's crazy
It kind of
down there.
all rises together, and
Yeah.
there's this cool thing going on in Baltimore. And I think like from a food, there was a Brandon Scott tweet where he was like tweeting at the mayor of DC and the mayor of Baltimore were like tweeting about food. And I was like, yeah, I commented. I got the most likes on my comment.
Let's go.
I was like, I'll battle
you ratioed 'em?
any one of their fucking Detroit styles. Let's fucking
let's go.
And everyone was like liking that comment. But like, it's true. I mean, DC has some really cool shit. DC has, I just went to Reverie for a tasting meeting or tasting dinner. That was mind-blowingly fantastic, and Johnny Spiro's ridiculously talented chef.
Yeah,
But
like Jose
there's
Andres
not
has fucking
he
restaurants.
was
in
well
DC.
he was Johnny used to be at Mini Bar. He was the chef de cuisine there, so like he branched off, and there's some cool stuff going on in DC. But there's some really gritty stories and like really cool upbringings and really cool concepts going on in Baltimore, especially Black Swan's coming. That looks so cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Fusine is another one. John is like a crazy chef. I've known him. I did some marketing for Colta. I was like helping manage their marketing as a consultant for a minute, and like met some cool cannabis influencers. And John was into the cannabis scene, but also a big chef. That guy's super fucking talented. Fusine in Canton. Look at his page. The shit he's putting out is
Is it like
insane.
infused shit? Or?
No, it's like it's fusion cuisine is like his idea, but he takes it.
Even
some
the
of it's just
name is
bar,
a fusion.
Yeah, and he just takes bar foods like soft shell crab sandwich, and he does like this crazy shit with it,
And a
just
hard
takes
shell,
it-
soft shell, and
soft shell and a
hard shell crab
Hard
sandwich.
shell.
Just
The
fucking
bun is a hard shell. Who else?
Fusing.
There's White Mill. I haven't been to White Mill yet. White Mill is that what it's called?
Yeah, the new one in Hampton.
But it's there's some cool
market.
Yeah, there's a cool Filipino place. There's a heritage kitchen there.
I know,
the
like
stuff-
a burger spot.
Yeah, there's
up
like a
in
couple
there,
things
like
there.
a
But
tea company.
no, there's the baker. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Oh, they used to be on Falls Road.
The baker, she's awesome. She bakes these like crab handheld things that are like. She sent some stuff, and then we sent pizzas. We traded one day, and she sent some stuff down with the Baltimore foodie, and then my partner went up with some pizzas, and it was. Like her baking is fantastic. Like whatever she's doing, I don't know what she's putting in there. Like I bet she's using a lot of butter.
Oh yeah, butter is key, bro.
So, God, Mac. Hold on, I gotta look it up. I'm probably getting yelled at.
I'm gonna pee real quick.
Yeah, knock it out, dude.
Oh, so that baker was named Crust by Mac. I looked it up. So Crust by Mac, she's in White Mill as well. Both of those places. I haven't had the Filipino food yet. But it's Heritage Kitchen. It looks fucking insane. And that's like top of my list right now. And then Forage is another one. There's just cool concepts coming out of Baltimore that are just awesome.
It is. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
It is like. I mean, it almost had to get so far down for people to start investing
Right.
in it and stuff like that. You know.
And people have to see like one cool thing happens. You have and I think Kevin Plank's done a lot for the mart. Like having a Fortune 500 company here in the city is important. Like attracting people like who want to work at a place like that, like a big company, like you're bringing in better work pool, like everything just rises from there.
It's such a hard balance, and I've gotten this. This is a conversation that I get into with a lot of people a lot of times, and in regards to Atlas, how they have a lot of differing polarizing opinions either way, and it is such a hard balance to balance between like the two realities, which are okay, you don't want these big companies coming in here building stuff that's specifically for people that have a lot of money, and then it's completely inaccessible for the people that actually live there, and it actually winds up pushing them out of neighborhoods or whatever, like gentrification argument.
Right.
And there's hard to balance that with the other side of it, which is like you need companies here. Like at the end of the day, you need.
Yeah, there's definitely I think there's definitely a need for balance. Like I don't know the Harbor East models, like just an example of like what's kind of happened in that area, and it's helping the other areas, not specific to the Smith brothers, but I think
they went into Fed Hill. They're opening one in Fed Hill. They're opening one in Fells Point. They've opened one. Port Covington's coming up. There was nothing really going on in Port Covington.
Not yet. I mean, there was nothing. I mean, it was just empty land.
Yeah.
It was empty industrial land. So there's cool stuff with, Weller Developments over there, and like those guys have done a lot in the city, and like there's just cool like. I feel like the who's doing it has changed too. Like some of these developers, like Weller Development and I don't even know who's doing stuff in Canton, but there's these cool buildings that are being built, and then there's all these cool like shops that are opening up and restaurants, and there's these opportunities. But you have newer developers who are a bit, a little bit younger than some of the older guys, and like they have vision for like it's not just a building, it's a functional space, and it interacts with the community, and like. I think that's the thing you have to figure out if you're going to lift a whole city.
Yeah.
And I think there's parts of like, yeah, sure, there's been development that hasn't had that in focus, but I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that is starting to put that in focus. And I think you have a lot of conversations going on right now that is that. And like, we even for our pizza, I have this idea I've been kicking around called Food for Thought menu. And I was like, what if we had a menu and we partnered with bigger companies, whether it's, we talked to Tessa Mays and we talked to like McCormick, and just had items on the menu that featured their stuff, and like raised, like it started a conversation about some issue, crab fisheries, food disparity, and food deserts, like things like that, and had a menu that literally you bought it, money went back to it, but it wasn't just about the money, it was about the conversation. And like, I think a thought like that kind of should happen with developments, and it is on some level. Like I think the conversation with Baltimore City happens where like developers are like, hey, what can we do? Like, how can we do this? We're doing this project and it's going to impact the community, but how can we be more positive for the community and have more of a positive impact and do things? So
Yeah.
I think Johns Hopkins has done a lot with that. I mean, I know there's been, I'm not going to pretend I know all the social issues going on in Baltimore. I haven't even been here a year since I moved, but
Well, it shouldn't be. There shouldn't be a stigma. Just I feel like there is like this thing where it's like if you're a big enough corporation, then you're automatically bad. Or this idea that like if you've made $1 billion or something like that, then that must mean you're automatically like fucking over someone else. And there's plenty of like.
Yeah, there's definitely, I mean, you don't have to fuck someone over to get there, but like it was funny. I was in the restaurant the other night by myself and I went and grabbed a bottle of water, and I never drink bottled water ever. Like it's just not, I can get filtered water. Like I just don't, it's for me, I'm like, I don't want to drink bottled water, but whatever anybody else wants to do, whatever. But we have bottled water at the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
So I went and grabbed one because there was no cold water or whatever. It was a fucking Nestle bottle. And I was like, ugh, they're like the worst. Like, I don't know if you've read any of their shit, but like, they're literally like, if there's a shittier company that sells bottled water, it's, I don't know.
What do they do? What do they do?
Like go into like Public Springs and go into like Axe and like, they're like literally draining like a municipal, like they would literally go next to Flint.
Water.
If Flint, like if they found a spring next to Flint where they could get them clean water from, and Nestle like saw, like was like, oh, we could actually pump from here. They would literally pump the water and prevent Flint. They would for that $1. They're just, you can read the stories. Fuck Nestle. But I literally saw it in our restaurant, and the next text was like, don't order this again, and like let's not carry Nestle in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because just my thought is like, but there's plenty of that's $1 billion company that just acts shitty.
Yeah.
There's plenty of billionaires and multimillionaires and rich people who don't think like that. Like I've met some of them. I've been with some of them. Like it's cool to see like the positive ones, like meeting the owners of Tessemae's. They randomly, this is actually a funny story. One of the founders reached out. She slid into the DMs. She was like, hey, do you guys come to Annapolis? And we do this drop in Annapolis every Sunday to a park. It's in a parking lot, like literally. So she's like, I'm from, I grew up in Michigan for a while. Like I love Detroit style pizza. You can't get any around here. Do you guys come to Annapolis? I'm like, I'm coming down on Sunday. She's like, oh, I'm going to order some pizza. I was like, cool. I was like, I can bring them to your house if you want. I like ended up delivering it to them in Edgewater. The nicest couple. Like sat and talked to them for a little bit. Like so inspiring their story. Like literally we're backing up, orders to Whole Foods in a Prius because in their like somebody else's. I think it was like the one guy I met, his brother's Prius, because they had sold their cars for the business. So they're making like, and it's just such a cool story. And like they are very successful, and I've never heard anyone say anything bad about them.
Yeah.
Right. But there's plenty of people who do shitty stuff. I don't think you have to be a piece of shit to get where you are, but there's certain moments where you have a choice.
I mean, so many of those places, like even like Amazon, it's like,
hey, one Yelp review too far. And
some of the labor issues at Amazon, and I'm not. Yeah, I mean but at the same time, I'm like, I was buying books from Jeff Bezos. I was a college student who liked to own the books he was using for research. So, because if I needed it for a paper later or whatever, and so I would just I'd buy books on Amazon for like 50 cents if I was like, I'd spend $20 and buy like I'm writing a 15-page research paper, and I'd buy all the books I needed for like $25. So Amazon helped me a lot early on.
And that's also amazing to think. Like I forgot that did they not start
They
off
started as a bookstore.
Was that what it was? I didn't know if. In retrospect, I'm like, was there other shit on there that I didn't know about at the time?
It's just so crazy.
Just buying
bookstore.
books. And like, I mean, if you can figure out the logistics to sell books, I guess you can figure out fucking anything.
I mean, dude, if you can sell a fucking book at all, dude, I'm impressed. I'm not fucking buying one.
You master the Dewey Decimal System, and then you're good to go.
But like so many of those things, I mean, that's kind of like even going back to like how you made your kind of pivot from being a show promoter to doing this pizza thing, and even like Facebook, which is like that started off as like, in my opinion, one of the best ideas ever, which was let's just gather up all the fucking people at the school and have people compare who's hotter. It was basically like that's a great idea. I used to do that at my own high school. If only I knew I could monetize that.
I could see that, and then like figuring out like people want to interact, so it's like they want to interact on the web. They want to like more socialization and more options for that. And it was like you just hacked the whole system from a shitty little program that he
Yeah.
wrote where he's just like, I'm gonna.
But the original concept
was
is like
the hot or not.
It's like we were talking about earlier, like how you kind of start to get the ball rolling,
Right.
and then at a certain point it becomes bigger than you,
Right.
And it's like if you're a guy who was starting off this company called Amazon selling books,
Yeah.
and you just happen to be so good at what you were doing that you were like, dude, we could expand and sell
We could
other
sell
things.
anything.
Yeah, we could sell
Like,
anything. We don't
holy
just have to
shit,
sell
we
books.
got that book to Hawaii in 3 days.
Yeah.
We could sell fucking toilet paper there.
And
real
then we
quick.
start doing
like
and then we start doing other bigger shit, and it's like it becomes bigger than you to the point where it's like a lot of those things, like Jeff Bezos probably didn't envision Amazon being what it is now when he first started it. You know, Mark Zuckerberg may have not envisioned what Facebook became.
No, and you go through it. Everyone's so critical. Like here, the counter side to all of that is like everyone's so critical that they're not willing to give them the opportunity to react, respond, or fix what the problem is, because it
Reconsider.
takes a lot of time to figure that out. But
Yeah.
like I remember there was like the whole Whole Foods thing and like the health insurance, and I read up on it, and it's like my girlfriend was like, Jeff Bezos is an asshole because my girlfriend at the time was like, Jeff Bezos is an asshole because what did he do? He took away the health insurance to part-time employees at Whole Foods. And I said, I don't think Jeff Bezos was like in the loop on that conversation when it happened.
Yeah.
Like something tells me that Jeff Bezos is not really involved. There's a CEO for Whole Foods and he's not really involved in the day-to-day. And
Yeah.
that CEO probably isn't like, hey, we're going to take away health insurance from part-time workers. Like,
Yeah.
I need you to okay this. Like, it's probably not. Like, I mean, dude, he's doing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably not doing that. So,
Yeah.
like, it was hard for me to be like, well, and like, yeah, I get it's still his fault. He owns Amazon, which owns Whole Foods, like, blah, blah, blah. But, like, at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't.
Yeah,
but
he's
was-
not handing off.
and
the
I'm not
water
saying it's
bottles for
right.
them to
Like,
pee.
yeah, he's not saying he wasn't the manager who was like, no, you're going to pee in a water bottle. But somewhere along that command chain, and it's still his fault because somebody, if that was really a thing that happened.
But was he like, is giving, I mean, I'm not going where it might sound like I'm going, but like giving health insurance to part-time workers is like that's like something that doesn't normally come with a part-time
100%.
job.
Like, I'm just like, and that.
So it's like he was going above and beyond
Right.
what they were doing.
It.
And then he was like, wait a second, we can't afford to keep doing this for a
But-
guy who works here 2 shifts a week.
We don't know what I don't know the context of all of it. I was just, the point I was trying to make was like, I don't know that sure, if Jeff Bezos was involved in the decision and if there wasn't like an option, hey, can you go to full-time? We're going to give this to you. Like, but if you were like, hey, I'm going to do part-time 1 day a week just to get the health insurance. Like,
Yeah, it's
we've
like-
all been to a restaurant where we're like, hey, you hire 1 day a week so I can get the discount. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
is
yeah,
it so
yeah.
good here?
Yeah.
And I come here 3 days a week.
Yeah, let me work
Like,
a Tuesday
But
lunch
like
and get
at
full
some
healthcare
level, like
coverage.
I can see where a company might be like, but again, like I don't know the whole context of it. I think people should. I just think as a country, the healthcare system's broken.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
Maybe
it-
like we shouldn't look at. Maybe we shouldn't blame Jeff Bezos, and maybe we should blame Congress.
Is it Whole Foods' job to provide universal health? That's what I'm saying. It's like we're looking at the wrong people, and a
It's-
lot of these conversations always get like.
maybe we look at the healthcare companies and see why it's costing so much, and it doesn't cost much elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw something. I didn't listen to Biden's speech yet from last night. I'm not trying to get political. I don't know where you guys sit on the
you're good.
realm, but somebody posted a thing that was like, that's the first time a president has openly attacked trickle-down economics in a speech.
Yeah.
And like, I haven't heard it yet, but I'm like so excited to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like I'm looking at some of the stimulus money. I'm like, this is actually real trickle-down economics. This actually seems like it could work to keep the economy going out of this pandemic. And we need it.
Yeah,
It's like
but
crazy. Like
that's
for we have Save Our Stages coming up for concerts, and they're like, we're gonna give you money, but you got to go spend it on like very specific things within your industry, which is going to trickle down to the people of our industry. And
Yeah.
it's going to just create. It's going to be a like not a multiplier, but it's like going to echo throughout. Like I'm looking at how understanding economics. My school's finally coming in handy, but
There you go.
understanding like the velocity of that money and how like doing one show with that money will like have it's the bars getting money and the food and the parking and the giving, paying all the sound techs and the stagehands and all the stuff that needs to happen with a concert and the production houses. And then that trickles down and then like you're just putting more money. You just keep putting money into that atmosphere, and it's you do one show, it touches 1,000 people.
Yeah,
it's like
the money moves. It's like blood flow.
Whereas like you give it to one major corporation, and you're like, drip. This is like, all right, we're gonna go fucking spend money. Like this is
There
cool.
is a massive like kind of distribution of wealth that's kind of happened within the past year, which I've certainly been a fan. I mean, I'm in the exact bracket of people that benefited the most from that for sure. Yeah, and I've loved it. But
I think cryptocurrency is super disruptive to the distribution of wealth right now.
Can I ask you about crypto stuff?
And this is not financial advice. I'm not that great with it.
This is
I've been
not
around on it since for a while.
My cousin is real into. I know a lot of guys that are real into it, and it wasn't really until recently that I've really started heavily considering the validity of it. I mean, Bitcoin's probably the biggest one, right?
Yeah, Bitcoin's the biggest one, and it's like this idea. It's finite. It's done. I kind of look at it, and I look at it like, all right, they're taking large amounts of power, and converting it to a coin. That power is costing money, like those calculations. And if you're willing to, I mean, fiat money as it is, like our whole system is based on this.
Yeah. It's based on a belief that it's worth something.
Right. And then you have these tokens coming out that have utility. Like there's some really cool things coming out. And like that one I mentioned earlier, again, not financial advice. I'm just talking about what I know. Everyone always writes that online. I don't know if I could get in trouble for talking about this.
I mean, what are they going to do? Sue you if their fucking stocks go down?
Yeah. So like Voyager's an interesting one because it's like, it's almost like banking. Like they give you interest on what you're holding. You can hold in a US dollar coin that's stable to the US dollar. They'll give you 7%, 8%, 10% interest depending. Each month it fluctuates, but I'm like, why would I? And then you can get the money out. Typically they're going through some maintenance, but like typically the money's pretty fast to come out of your account if you move it to your bank account, and they're coming out with a check card that you can spend with.
Yeah.
So like my thought is, and it's the CEO is like the guy who started E-Trade. I'm like, I trust. That's why I bought in early. I was like, I trust this guy, right?
Yeah.
And started E-Trade. He already disrupted one entire platform of like currency trading and stuff like that, and financial markets. He could do it again in crypto. And like, why would I hold money in a bank in a checking account if I can have a checking account where I'm getting set like with crypto where I'm getting like these
instead of like 0.01%.
They're gonna
fuck.
It's gonna fuck with banks really hard, and I'm like waiting. I think it's gotten too big for banks to stop it.
Well, I mean, so many. Okay, so when
they're just gonna figure out a way how to like tax the fuck out of it.
They already do. You pay tax on it, like
When I first started hearing about all this stuff popping up, I started kind of arguing against it naturally.
Yeah.
And I found myself, all the arguments that I was using against Bitcoin.
You were simping for banks.
I was simping. Well, I'm a big bank simp, baby.
You love Wells Fargo.
I was using the same exact, like the arguments I was using against crypto were the exact arguments that could apply to the American dollar.
Yeah.
You know, it's not based, like the thing I would always say about Bitcoin is like, okay, Bitcoin is, at the time when I was talking about it, I would say that Bitcoin was more of a commodity than a currency. People are investing in this quote unquote currency, but the value of it is always going to be based in how many dollars is it worth when you cash out.
Right.
Like everybody's saying like, oh, Bitcoin's up to 25,000, Bitcoin's up to 30,000,
right.
Bitcoin's here, blah, blah, blah. So it like, until Bitcoin actually became a viable circulating currency,
right,
it was just basically like an NFT. Like
right.
people speculating on it. Or do you think more people are going to buy it now? That means the price is going to go up. So maybe you can cash
what's
out.
going super volatile
if you want to
and
go
super
like
speculative.
Crazy conspiracy head though, it's like, okay, yeah, that's what the dollar's supposed to be too though.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
No
but then it's supposed to be like the inherent value of like the labor in the country and the I don't know what the
all it
actual
is the amount of money that people believe it's worth. It's literally just
all money is
that's
that,
all
right?
money is.
Mm-hmm.
It
Like
used
if
to
the
be
world,
based-
if 200 countries tomorrow went, we think the U.S. sucks. We think we're putting out a thing. Don't accept their money.
Mm-hmm.
The entire financial system would collapse. And
absolutely.
It's just and it's literally that fragile that like,
and that's why
if you can get enough people not to believe in it, or if you get enough people to believe in it, it is what it is. But now Bitcoin's
it's also just been
$55,000.
like a constant for like such a long time. Like if you want to think about it, like with like religions, like Scientology and shit, like Mormonism, like one of the main reasons it's so like, laughed at or scoffed at or whatever is because like it's new.
Right.
Like Catholicism, all that shit, it's like it's fucking weird, but it's been around for centuries now.
Right.
That no one even bats an eye at it.
Right.
But like
some of the
Bitcoin
shit
comes
in there,
around,
you're like,
Yeah.
like I don't even Judaism is like people are like, well, you can't mix meat and dairy. I'm like,
I'm out of business.
what? I don't know how this is gonna work, and I get it from like a biblical and religious standpoint, but I think like sometimes you ask yourself, why did these things? What
Well,
are
it's just
these
like an
rules and where did
old-ass
they come
rule,
from?
yeah,
And
for,
what
like-
was the practical use of it? And it actually like mixing meat and dairy typically made you sick back in.
Yeah, it's like
You
people
know,
got food
before
poisoning because no one
Christ.
washed their fucking hands.
Right.
You had to be like,
And
all right,
there's
guys,
just,
don't
like-
go to the pig pit and then pet the cows, or else you're gonna get mad cow
don't-
disease or some
Don't
bullshit.
sleep in the pig pit with your pizza.
Yeah. Well, my
Don't do
friend Joey's in the band with me, and he has. I think the actual line of thinking is called modern monetary theory,
Yeah.
and it's basically this idea that the U.S. dollar is so incredibly, like, just solidified in the world economy.
Yeah.
That there's nothing that we could do that would take it out of its position as number one.
Right.
And to me, although he does, he knows a lot more about that stuff than I do. He's a political science major. He writes articles and shit like that.
Yeah.
A lot younger, but he knows a lot of that stuff. And to me, that just seems like, I can't explain why it seems like a incorrect way of looking at it. But this idea that, like, think about civilizations that have pre-existed America. Like, America is a very young country.
Oh, 100%.
We've existed since 1776 officially. We've only really been the international like currency since probably realistically maybe after like either
World
the
War
first or
II.
second world
World War II. I mean,
World
it
War
was
II.
like you had Gilded Era, and I don't know. I know the financial boom of the Gilded Era and the rise of Wall Street was big. Then you got into the Depression, so we sunk the world economy too. A bunch of stuff we did. Then it was like post World War II, and that's where a lot of conspiracy comes out of, is like things that happened post World War II and what was discussed and what decisions were made and how, and then these things that came out of that and like the rebuilding of the world, like, and the fall of other empires, England
Yeah.
and France and Germany and all these things, Prussia before that.
Yeah,
and you
Prussia.
got Prussia. Everyone forgets about Prussia.
Great name.
Right?
Great name.
Prussia pizza?
Prussian pizza.
Prussia style
Yeah, it's
pizza.
like fucking borscht or something. It's like less than 100 years that we've been at the
Yeah.
forefront of modern like currency and financial markets.
Yeah.
And like, it doesn't like, it's like, look how fragile the whole system was with COVID.
Yeah.
We didn't have fucking toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
We were a few days away from being a third world country.
Yeah.
Like, what happens if this thing's a little bit more contagious and it starts disrupting trash pickup and food? It was disrupting the food system. Here was an interesting thing. Let's fuck the money. Let's talk about the systems. Like, you have two food systems: the retail food system, grocery stores, and then the wholesale food system that goes to restaurants. When all the restaurants shut down, everyone went to the retail food system. All of those calories they were consuming over there that used to be consumed you shut down, everything
Yeah.
was shut down for a minute, right?
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's all a blur, but like, I'm pretty sure all restaurants were closed for
Yeah.
like a month,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for a
2 months.
while.
Right.
Yeah, and they might have been trying to do
and,
like
like,
takeout, but it's like, who's getting takeout?
No, I don't even
from-
think takeout was. I think at one
Yeah.
point they
Well,
were
that's
like,
when,
every.
the ghost
I remember.
kitchens came out.
Right. So like,
Because restaurants were closed, but people were like, well, let me rent your space and I'll do a weird
Right.
ass like Grubhub deal.
right. But it was even, felt maybe they never shut down delivery fully, but it was just really disruptive. But all those calories from eating out went to retail. Suddenly you couldn't get ice cream at Giant. And you're like, well, what the fuck? And then you start hearing about, and I have a friend who owns some slaughterhouses. He's like, yeah, they're getting sick. What happens is one person brings COVID and these are into the meat packing plant and everybody gets it and they're shut down. And there's not a ton of like, in the scale of meat we eat, like all of it's going through USDA facilities.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's not like there's a shit ton of them. They all have to have a USDA guy there. And there's all these like things they have to do to operate. And like, it started to disrupt meat. It started to disrupt dairy. and you're all of a sudden you're like, I can't get toilet paper, I can't get fucking ice cream. Like we were not far off from a collapse.
I mean, it really is a matter of perspective. I mean, it really was like a house of cards, kind of like we've
it
existed
was
on-
close. Like I think we got through it, but like I don't know if we're surviving a zombie apocalypse. That was pretty tough.
Well, I mean, like we were kind of
ready.
we were kind of so used to like
put the
kind of
nails
like
in the wrong way. But
ship on demand lifestyle.
Right.
Like no one had like a warehouse of shit in their store.
Right.
Because they knew like, oh, okay.
You're just
if we
getting the
need
guy's
shit-
coming on Thursday to bring me this thing.
Yeah.
But like suddenly when that supply dries out and those trucks can't come or like whatever it is, you're just in that position.
And then
where-
you're fucked because there's no flour.
Right. The flour. I mean, it was crazy. There was one weekend I ended up finding flour, but there was like a minute where I was like, I don't even know if I can make these pizzas I'm supposed to sell.
yeah.
Because I can't find, I got to drive to Edgewater to go find flour and a fucking giant over there.
Jesus Christ.
Because I was looking on Amazon. I'm like, damn, flour's like expensive as shit on Amazon.
Yeah, people are like reselling
People
flour.
are like reselling flour for like $13 a bag. Because like there's probably areas of the country that couldn't get flour at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, going back to because I think those all kind of work in tandem. Like we're talking about the supply chains and things like that. Even in money, it's the same thing. Like so much of America's power in the world, and I don't even think this is considered a political statement at this point. I think it's just I mean, commonly understood is that, you know, we've kind of sequestered the oil reserves in the Middle East to the point where people that are trading oil, which is one of the most important commodities in the world.
Yeah.
They're trading it in US dollars.
right.
And so we have that market locked down. If some country buys oil from Syria, they're doing it in US dollars, which maintains the strength. We've basically
Right.
forced our influence into this market to the point where if anybody buys anything, it's going through our economy.
Right. And most
first.
things are looking at it in US dollar. It's traded
Yeah.
in US dollar. And it's, but I think like how big does some other country have to get? You know, how much market share does China have right now?
Or
You might
maybe
be-
it's not even a country thing.
Right.
Maybe it is what we're talking about with this crypto thing. Where
Right.
maybe it's something where you could circumvent that system entirely by not having
and
to
it's
go through the.
faster. Like when you look into how fast crypto can move across that network of computers, like that make up the blockchain. When you're talking about, there was one day I made a deposit into an account and I was like, fuck, I deposited it from the wrong bank account. And I was like, let me refund it. And I like sent the money back out.
Mm-hmm.
And the money hit my bank account before it came out.
Wow.
Like, think about that.
Jesus.
Like, it went in. I did it like 9 a.m. Like, oh, did a deposit. Oh, shit, wrong account. Cash it out. And I had enough cash in there. And like that night, the deposit or the withdrawal out of my crypto account hit my bank account. And the next day, the crypto account took the cash out of my bank account.
Yeah.
Like, you can't move cash like that. And this is, you got to call the bank and you got to do a wire and you got to fill out paperwork and you got to sign stuff. Here you got like fucking 15-digit code that no one's going to crack. And you got, 2FA verifications and stuff like that. But it's quick.
Yeah.
You don't have to. I can send you Dogecoin right now. And it's just, and the Dogecoin's a bullshit. We call it a shit coin.
Hell yeah.
But like, you can send these things really fast. Like, and it's not, you don't have to deal with, and it's nice now we have Venmo and we have PayPal and we have Zelle and all these things because the banks went, oh shit, we got to speed up how we.
I was just thinking about the other day. I was doing a odd job in some like rich dude's house. I was washing windows, and like this guy's like 84 years old. Odd job. An odd job. Washing windows.
What is that? What's that movie with the gun runners where he's like, he was like, you give dudes massages? It's like.
Yeah, man.
War Dogs. War Dogs.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, watch that. I don't think I've seen that. This guy has accumulated a massive wealth over his life,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's a number.
Yeah.
And that number is based on how much we believe it's worth. You
Right.
see these instances of inflation or something like that where, you can go back through history, recent history. I mean, I think in like Zimbabwe right now, like they had to make like $1 trillion bill because their money just essentially became worthless.
Right.
And that's why, like me, I'm lucky because I don't really have that much money in the bank. So if suddenly that money were become worthless, I'd be like, oh, well, Didn't really lose that.
My 12 cents. Is 2 cents.
You know, but it just is crazy to think that, like, in the same way that our systems were exposed for being built on basically, like, just like I said before, like a house of cards, it's like how quickly that could happen with the global currency or something like that. And all of a sudden, this money that you spent a lifetime accumulating could be worth nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you start, and I keep going back to this, but it's when you start to think of like the security of things, like think of how many services would we have to lose before society breaks down?
Wi-Fi.
And for how long?
Wi-Fi. I think
Wi-Fi for like 2 days. That was, I think there was a recent study that said it was like seven. If the entire country lost Wi-Fi for 72 hours, we'd lose, society would.
I think
maybe not even that.
I think at this point, I think everybody wants a revolution until the Wi-Fi goes out.
Right.
I think once,
dude, when you lose that convenience, like
once you realize, oh wait, we're actually talking about tearing this shit down, and I can't tweet about it. I can't fucking make a post. I can't
the media,
post a pic.
like the social media. Like if you, not even that. Like once I'm like, I got to go to my mom's house and I don't know how to get there because my GPS is down.
Yeah,
that's like I know how to get almost everywhere I need to go without looking at a GPS.
yeah.
I'm like, I know people who don't know how to get out of their neighborhood without a GPS.
Oh yeah, I talked about
and I'm
that.
like,
Yeah.
you're literally gonna get eaten by wild poodles the first day.
Yeah.
You're gonna be walking around your neighborhood like trying to get a signal, and like,
Yeah.
some fucking toy poodle's just gonna be like, "This is dinner tonight. Sorry."
I make a point. I mean, even like I broke my phone again the other day. I just got it fixed. It was actually on that odd job. We were spraying down the porch after we washed the windows, and my dad, halfway through spraying down the porch, he was like, "Oh fuck, our phones are on the porch." So like my phone was like completely submerged. It worked for a little bit, and then all of a sudden just stopped working. And just even a day, like I took it to the repair shop in the Towson Mall, and then they were like, "It'll be ready in 45 minutes." I live across the street from the mall, or like not even across the street. It's like behind my parking lot. And I walked back, took a nap, woke up, didn't realize they closed at 7 p.m. So I walked back, the mall was closed. I got yelled at for trying to walk in the parking garage. He was like, "Get out of here." I was like, "Damn, dude, just trying to get my phone." And just going the night without a phone, I felt like it was like I was on a different
naked.
planet.
Did you get on your iCloud and be like, start?
I like, I
He
mean,
wishes. He has an Android.
yeah, I have a fucking Android, dude.
Oh, you're right. You are green texting me.
Yeah, I'm
Shit.
green texting, bro.
I'll block you after this podcast. Let me get your number.
We'll work it out.
It is crazy how
I'll
dependent.
airdrop it to you.
Yeah, dude.
Perfect.
Maybe I will get an iPhone next phone. Maybe. But either way, it just is amazing how dependent we've become on those things to the point where, I don't know, like, I think before electricity goes out, before the heat goes out, that's going to be
If
way
Wi-Fi
further down
gets
the...
dude, I had
telling
Wi-Fi
you
at
it's
the
Wi-Fi.
restaurant. Literally, the restaurant, Wi-Fi was out Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm like, it was back Wednesday night, and I called Verizon, and I was like, all right, we're going to get Verizon installed. We have Comcast, shitty customer service, of course.
Oh, the worst.
But I had
Well, they
like
got, like,
a
the
friend's,
monopoly on the city,
a friend's
dude.
wife. Well, no, they have Verizon service in my area.
Oh, really?
Friend's wife was the rep. I was like, yeah, I'll just go with it. Cool, like it's great. Verizon's coming to do it Tuesday, and I was like, we were like, for what the price is, let's just keep the Verizon as a backup line, and if Comcast keeps doing a problem, we'll just get rid of it. But I'm like, it's so bad. I'm like, we're gonna get two Wi-Fi services in one
Jesus.
building because like,
Well, I mean, you need it for all the pre-orders.
all the shit, like just texting customers and all that stuff, and like I go down there and book shows. I sit in the restaurant and like work on concert stuff, and I'm like, I can't be here without Wi-Fi. This is I was like tethering off my phone. I'm like, this 5G Wi-Fi is shit.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Coming out from fucking, I grew up in dial-up. I'm like, this 5G Wi-Fi is unacceptable. So yeah, it's just, I think society, like the fragility of society based on like all that shit I think that's our vulnerability in terms of like the money. Like, because if society, for some reason, someone was to attack the internet, just like you said, or like a bad pandemic hit and it started to disrupt trash service, electricity, your Wi-Fi's out, like you're fucked. You have your phone sort of, maybe if
you can charge it,
if the Wi-Fi tower's not out, but like that, like, yeah, you're gonna, what's the dollar gonna be worth if we can't fucking get on Twitter and tweet about it?
Yeah, $1's only worth what you can get for it,
right?
You know?
And if
At the
you
end of the
can't,
day, it's a piece of paper.
And nobody's taking fucking cash anymore, so you like this. You can't use the card. The electricity's out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just found out that I can tap my card on a thing, dude.
I just found out
for
within the
real?
last year myself.
I'm thinking last week for me.
I had no idea. I was like, huh? They're like, yeah, wireless, like touchless. Like you didn't.
I felt like a
I thought it
69-year-old
was like
man.
the chip reader was there for a reason. Why do
It
they have a chip
is,
reader then?
But then like it also sends a signal. So when you sleep next to your wallet, you're giving yourself cancer.
Damn.
No, I don't know if that's actually true. If it actually sends out a signal like that, but you
I'm sure it
put the
is.
thing up.
That's why I prefer not to sleep next to my wallet.
Yeah, I will.
I charge my wallet across the room.
They make such great pillows. It was a tough adjustment. Eventually had to dip out of it.
Yeah, I mean that's like, dude, if Wi-Fi, like we lost Wi-Fi, electricity, like dude, the dollar would be worthless if at scale if we lost it across the country. That'd be crazy. But I'm like ready. I was ready when everything started to shut down. I like got word from somebody. Somebody texted me like, there's a press conference coming and they think like Hogan's gonna shut down the state. And I was like buying dry goods, like shit, like ramen.
Yeah.
Like flour, ramen, salt. Like
I stocked up for like 2 months.
Made a bunch of beef jerky and like dried fruits because I'm like,
I bought a bunch of
know.
perishable stuff.
I've been watching this shit since January 3rd. I'm like, I knew what they did in China because I have friends there. China was like, go in your house.
Yeah,
and
they're
if
like
you come
those
out,
dinosaur
we'll
guys.
fucking shoot.
Yeah,
you.
they're nailing doors
like
shut.
that's like legitimately like they were like, here's food, go in your house, stay there. And so that's like people here are so fucking soft. Like people who are like, oh my god, it's like communist country, like lockdowns. I'm like,
I gotta
you
wear a
can
mask
go. You
inside.
can literally be like, oh, it's a lockdown. Like I'm gonna go to the store.
Yeah,
Like right, like there was no okay. I couldn't go to the club. Like cool. Like shows are shut down. I'm not like, oh my god, I can't go and get gas or like go and buy water. Like China, they're like, go in your fucking house, and if you come out, we'll shoot you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we'll bring you water,
That's
don't
literally
worry.
like your neighborhood
We
is
won't,
having
but
an
we'll bring it to
outbreak, and you need to go inside and not come out for 30 days. And people weren't like, and that was China.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
and
that's
then
some
people are
zombie shit.
comparing like your favorite bars shut down for a month to like, it's like communist China. This is ridiculous. And I'm like, you're so soft. Although 3 weeks did turn into 13.
Yeah,
14
I mean,
months.
well, it's either we're either soft because we can't tolerate it, or China's soft for letting their government do that to them.
Yeah,
There's two ways of looking
it's
at
a different cult. Like it's interesting. Like I had a client from China that I worked with for a while who does like events over there, and it's like it's a different culture. It was like it's funny now that I think about it. There was like this guy who hit me up trying to sell me like just a total like Gary V like fucking who's the other guy, Tony Robbins kind of shill.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, I've never built a business, but hire me and I'll teach you how to build a business.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, oh, I'm having so much. I was like, what businesses have you built? When he DM'd us, oh, I found a successful Instagram page. I'm going to DM you. And he was like, oh, I'm having success in China. I'm like, oh, you're having success standing on a stage and selling capitalist ideas to people who grew up in an authoritarian communist dictatorship sort of situation that like they've never really experienced it. So that shill bullshit that you fucking put out on stage because you actually have no experience doing what you're doing works in China, but it's a different culture there. They've never experienced it. So like they're like, yo, you got to go in the house, and they're like, all right, government knows what's best. That's just what they came up on, and frankly, like they got their factories fucking back up pretty quickly and got their shit together, and they got it together pretty quickly. Whereas like if we actually had that, if the government had actually been like, stay in your fucking house, like we would have had literally people burnt, like I think people would have lost it. Like,
Oh, I
actual
imagine
stay in
so.
the house.
I mean, people already kind of did.
I can't
People
fucking
did
wear-
lose it.
Like
People
I
definitely
can't
did
wear a
lose
mask. Like I was always like, I'm gonna wear a mask because I just don't want someone being like, yo, you killed my fucking grandmom.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
wore
really
a,
that simple.
I wore a mask more so I didn't get yelled at. Really,
Yeah.
I never personally cared myself, but I
Right.
just didn't. I didn't want people to give me a look, so I was like, all right.
You just
whatever.
wear. I mean, dude, I don't know.
Yeah,
I was
you
like,
just wear it. It
you
wasn't
just
hard.
wear- It wasn't like I wasn't like, oh my god, like I can't grocery shop. This thing's a muzzle. The
No, I will
government-
say-
I was like, science is science.
The amount of times I forgot it just because I'm a very scatterbrained person.
Yeah.
And I would like be running late to a gig and I had to run back to my car just to grab a mask so I could walk 3 feet into the door to the stage and then take it off again.
Right.
That shit used to kind of bug me a little bit because I was like, what is this
It is
really
a little.
doing?
It's some of the stuff doesn't make sense. Like, but other like some stuff, some of that shit like, like we're outside. I'm like, find me one person who walked by a person outside and caught COVID because they walked by someone. It doesn't. That's not how science works.
Yeah.
The other funny thing is like some of the newer science that came out. They're like all the shit we're doing to like clean surfaces and like fogging buildings and like doing all this shit. It's actually worse for us than like actually like just wiping it down with soap and water. Like we use at the bar, we use a peroxide spray. I'm like, who would have thought like cool, spray it with fucking peroxide.
Yeah.
Like, but everything, it's like the news and everything got us so worked up. They're like, a person got it from an Amazon package, possibly. And then everyone's like,
it sticks
I
on
gotta
cardboard
burn my
for 30
Amazon package
days.
before I let it in the house. Like, I'm going to set it on fire so it doesn't have anything on it. It's like,
there's just a lot of things that like I'm always for the scientific aspect of things, but there would seem to be a lot of measures that we took that were more based in the optics than the actual
100%.
effect.
There's definitely
effectiveness. Like I remember I was on a paint job, or actually even I was on a paint job with my dad. We were like sanding this room and whatever. And we're standing there sanding this room, and it's dusty as hell. There's air particles all over the room. And my dad goes, "Now you mean to tell me if we were to sit down that we wouldn't still be breathing in these particles?" And just the idea that you go to these places and you wear a mask when you're standing up and you take it off when you sit down. There's so many things. It's like when you're in a hospital, for instance, when you wear a mask in a hospital room with a person with a virus, you leave that room, you dispose of that mask, you put on a new mask, you sanitize before you go into the next room. Most people I know, including myself, wear the same mask until they lose it.
And not just that,
which for me is quick because I lose a mask.
Most of the masks are like rash guards that you can blow a candle out through. I'm like, you're not saving anybody or yourself with that. Like that was the funny thing. I was like in Target one night. I remember that night I realized that. I was like, we're so fucked because I'm in Target and no one's wearing a mask that actually protects anyone, and everyone's standing on top of each other, even though there's social distancing. And like, what would really fucking work instead of closing down everything? Open everything up, put a small tax on it, and then get everyone a real mask that works, and everyone has to wear them for like 2 months. Like a real, like I wear like, I have these like, I don't know if I have one on me. No.
Like an M90?
No, it's a KN95, but like
this one?
It's
the one that's on my floor?
Yeah. But it was like CDC tested. It was CDC tested. It was like proven. It came with certificates.
KN95.
Yeah. And like, but you could get them. You could test the brand. You could go online. Like the CDC started testing all the brands and listing them online so you knew which ones worked. And I was like, I never got COVID. I know that my mask fucking worked. I'm sure I'd been around it in kitchen environments and restaurant environments and all that shit. But like, as soon as you're like, I'm just going to wear a fucking rash guard, you're like,
or like those gaiters or something like that.
The neck gaiters.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm all.
And that's why like the shit just didn't go away because like no one's.
Well, because so many, like I said, so many of those policies were instituted not based off of what was best, but what seemed best.
Right. And optics, and it was just like off face covering. It's like, all right, well, like.
And maybe that is the American culture and me or whatever, but I hate.
I mean, it's our version of the don't mix dairy and pork. It's like we have to give the rules to literally people who aren't going to follow them anyway.
Yeah.
It made sense. I mean, it is what it is now. I'm tired. I'm vaccinated and I'm tired.
Yeah.
You're vaccinated?
I'm vaccinated.
I'm halfway there.
Hell yeah.
I got one of them.
What'd you get? Pfizer or Moderna?
Yeah.
That's what I got.
That's the iPhone of vaccines, baby.
That is the iPhone. That is the iPhone.
I think, right?
Blue texting through our chips
it's
right
the
now.
Standard, it's the standard technology. There's nothing new about it. It's the COVID vaccine's been around forever. Like for 20 years, they've been working on it since before when they discovered coronavirus.
SARS was the first one.
But there was even before that. I mean, they could discover coronavirus.
The common cold was a coronavirus.
Right.
Yeah.
So like.
Notably, no cure for the common cold.
There is no cure. It's just mom's chicken soup. That's
it.
it.
I mean, what are you gonna do? You get the cold, baby.
I got the vaccine. I got the second one. I was tired for a day. I took a ton of turmeric and curcumin and vitamin C and fucking leave, and I was good.
I'm anxious to see, like we were talking about, like you were saying, that you see things probably opening up in the summer.
Yeah.
I think I heard a stat the other day that I think as of right now, more than half of American adults have received at least their first shot.
I think it's getting there.
Yeah, it's like more than half. So like probably within the next month. I mean, that was probably, a month ago, it wasn't even close to that. Like I feel like within the past month,
They're
it's like
the administration now, they're doing a great job of distributing it.
Yeah.
They're just on it. They're putting it out there. They're getting it. They figured out the logistics of getting the need, because a big thing with government is you have to think the whole thing through. So like, it's not just we ordered vaccines. It's we ordered vaccines, needles, things to carry it in, like all the logistics from start to
we've
finish.
laid out
That's like a lot of fucking logistics, and the administration got it figured out, got the vaccine. There's lots of conspiracies about it. I've tried to read them all.
Gotta love
my
conspiracy.
5G, my cell service has gotten great.
Hey.
I got a free subscription to Windows just by going like this. Like,
Yeah, turns out COVID was ruining 5G, not the other way around. Now that COVID's going away, service is going up. That's the real conspiracy.
So it's I mean,
I just hope. I guess
ready
what
to
I'm saying
get
is, I think exactly.
I'm ready to
once people are vaccinated. The way I would look at it is, look, once everyone who wants a vaccine can get a vaccine and has had the opportunity. Are we still going to be doing this shit like in August where like your server's walking around with a mask and they drop off drinks? Because at that point, it's what are we doing?
That was fun.
People are vaccinated
I was
now.
talking to a very smart person. He's a business person in the area. I don't want to name drop him because he's like very well known. But we were having dinner one night and who said something?
Bobby Flay.
And it was Bobby Flay. It was
Bobby Flay.
It was the Baltimore Oriole. No. Let's go.
So the bird.
I was talking about a festival, and he was like, "Yeah, like maybe you'll have 75% capacity." And I was like, "I don't know. I just feel like if I got 75%, why don't I have 100? Like, what is the difference between 22,500 people somewhere and 30,000?
Yeah,
like it's not There's not gonna be. It's like I don't think we're I don't think we're gonna hit we can do 75 now. Like
It's
I think
not
it's just
much
gonna go
difference.
50 open.
But
Like-
I bet people will still do that just for almost just like the optics of
Yeah.
just to be
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they just have to outdoor events just need to come back. Like that's where my head's at right now. Like you have a lot like Electric Daisy Carnival just canceled. Something else just Electric Forest just canceled for this year. Like stuff's coming down for September, and it's something. Electric Daisy Carnival was pushed to October, but it's like. If we're still in this and if we're still canceling shit in fucking September, we got problems.
Yeah, I think that's the point where
still
people
on
really.
I don't know if you've heard about the Baltimore Comedy Festival, but damn it. I
Maybe
hope we're on
I've heard of
that.
it before. I feel like who does it?
So my friend Ivan Martin started it.
Yeah.
And me and another comic, Dark Mark, kind of like help run parts of it.
I've heard of it before. I've heard of the Baltimore Comedy Festival.
Okay,
I thought you meant
perfect.
like happening this year. Yeah.
No, we're kind of like Labor Day weekend-ish.
Yeah.
And we're still like, we don't know if it's
Where are
gonna
you guys
happen.
doing it at?
It's kind of like all
So,
over, right?
All over,
Yeah.
yeah. We might have like 12 venues this year, but it's
You
usually
guys
just like
need
one or
catering?
two
You
shows
need
at each
pizza?
thing. Dude, I was about to say
Need some
near the
pizza?
end, like we might need some pizza this year. We might need a little collab.
Nice. Yeah, I think small comedy clubs are starting to come back on some level already, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a degree,
little bit,
Motor
yeah.
House is still.
Yeah,
Like
well, like
Ghost Land.
Where's Motor House?
Magoobies is going
Motor
up.
House is in Station North on North Avenue.
Wait, that's a comedy club?
You know where Joe Squared
No,
is?
I know exactly
Yeah.
where it is.
It does all
It's like
kinds of
a-
stuff.
Okay, because
Yeah, it's like a
there was a
arts
charity. There was I used to be involved in Believe in Music. I used to be on the board, and the kids did a concert there one night.
Yeah.
I have been there.
But they had like the open mic every Wednesday, and they had like shows there.
You know, our house across the street.
Yeah.
I used to throw raves in that fucking place next to Joe Squared.
Really?
That was
Let's
fucking
go.
sketchy.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dude, we used to throw all night rave parties in that fucking thing. It was wild. Did you have other questions for? I feel like you had some questions. Like
I was thinking of stuff in the beginning, like when I was eating the pizza.
I threw you
But now I
guys off
forget.
with I was a concert promoter. This was a fucking pivot thing.
I know, right?
I
That was
mean-
like curveballs.
I mean, it was cool that like we could talk about all that shit. I mean, Moonrise is a fucking like staple hold of Baltimore. I mean, that's crazy. I had no idea you were affiliated in any way.
Yeah. It's funny. It's just funny I ended up here. Some days I'm in the restaurant and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing in a restaurant right now?
I'm sure we could have replaced some of our crypto, mask wearing, and fall society stuff with more pizza talk, but maybe not. Maybe
It's interesting. I just like to talk about stuff. I mean, it's been a wild
That's how
fucking
most
ride.
of our podcasts
I know more about the filtering capacity and capabilities of a KN95 than I ever wanted to fucking know and knew prior to March last year.
And honestly, dude, if there's anyone on planet Earth that can do a 3 full-hour podcast about pizza, I'm impressed. But I mean, they'd have to know a lot more than I do.
There's a
I don't know what
lot of
Eric knows
fucking
about
shit
pizza.
that goes into pizza. Going back to pizza, like, it's crazy when you start to get into like some of the science behind it and like the dough and like all that shit. Pizza's an interesting fucking thing. I could talk
Baking
for
in
3 hours.
general is
Baking's way harder.
insane.
God bless. Like,
is that not
like,
baking?
It is a type of
Yeah,
baking,
kinda.
the dough, but I only have to do one type of dough, right? And
Yeah.
then I'm doing things to it. It's like making a donut, and then I'm doing 30 different things to the donut.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you're a baker, like Crust by Mac, like all the different shit they do, every piece in there is a different dough. So you're like, and then there's the different techniques in the folding. I mean, baking is fucking hard.
Yeah.
I was never good at baking. I baked some Pop-Tarts during the pandemic.
There you go.
They weren't that good.
Did you do the,
I was like, fuck this, I'm making pizza.
the Bon Appetit recipe.
Yeah, I did like some fucking recipe I found online. We were doing all kinds of shit. That's how we got through COVID. It was like literally 20 of us on a group chat. We're like, what'd you make tonight? I made this. I was like, hey, I made pizza.
All right, I'll ask you two
ahead.
pizza related questions.
Let's go.
That I had that are just dying to be asked.
Yeah.
First question is favorite toppings on a pizza. Your go-to topping. What are you doing?
What am I doing right now? I mean, it's hard to say. It's like my mood. That pizza, the Nona that I have right now, is one of my favorites. It's like, it's the spicy Italian sausage, which I love our Italian sausage. It's a local purveyor, Logan's. And then I was doing it with the vodka sauce because our vodka sauce is so fucking good. Then I was like, hey, let's do this with pesto. And I made like a ramp pesto the other day and did it with a ramp pesto, and it was even better. And it's just fucking good pizza.
But you call up Papa John's. Hey, can I get a large pizza? Where are you getting?
Probably just a cheese.
Okay.
I'm very I'm like
Okay.
I'm also a very traditional, like, you gotta have a good cheese pizza. Like if I'm going to Vin 909's this place I like to eat. Even what's the place we talked about where you used to work?
Seasons.
Seasons.
Like when I go to Seasons, we get the margarita. Like
Oh,
the
yeah,
fucking
love margarita,
it's a good
baby.
pizza. It's solid. I can crush a whole one, or we can get a big one for.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have not you guys, but they have some
No,
good.
you can
square
say you
pizza.
guys. I am Seasons
They have,
Pizza.
they have some square. They have some square pizza there that's like pretty good.
Yeah,
too.
the party size pizza,
The
baby.
party-size
It's a
pizza,
fucking
yeah.
party.
It's good. That's like. But the problem is, you get to a certain point, it's easy to eat, and you've eaten too much, and then I don't think they proof their dough enough, and it gives you such heartburn.
Just like any party, dude.
It's any party, it's heartburn. Yeah. What's your next question? Next question. Let's
Next
go.
question. All right, this is a lightning round. This is such
lightning
a
round.
this is such
Let's
a
do 4
hack.
questions.
This is
Let's
such
go.
a hack
4
question.
lightning round.
Just the ultimate
You gotta do it.
pizza hack question. What is your stance on pineapple on pizza?
Okay, so it's funny. I did this on another podcast.
Great.
And like I was telling, this is actually a good story. So I was like, fuck, man, I feel like any topping could have a place on pizza to some level, to some degree. You did like a charred pineapple with like a fucking cured ham and like actually did something that was like sick. I'm not a big pineapple on pizza. Like if I'm going to Papa John's, I don't think Papa John's should have pineapple on pizza.
Probably
just to
not.
have it. No, because it's shitty canned
Yeah, it's
pineapple.
gonna be soggy.
It's like-
Yeah.
You get a good, nice, ripe pineapple, charred a little bit, like do some shit. And then the reason I got on that topic, I forget which podcast it was, but I was like, man, like, I remember it was a Baltimore guy. I don't know if he ever launched it, but he,
a big
I
pineapple
never
guy.
heard the podcast, but so, I saw a pizza that morning and I was like, saw like English peas on a pizza, which is big in other countries. Like I think like places like Mediterranean. I've seen it England. Like I've just seen peas on pizza a bunch from just different world.
That sounds like something.
There's some
England
weird
would do.
fucking. You get into some world pizza shit.
Yeah.
like follow some
Like
pages.
Asian pizzas
like,
are
you
wild.
get like Brazilian pizza's wild. It's got some weird cheese, like these creamy cheeses that I've never seen. You've got some weird shit on pizza, right? And so in other parts of the world, and I was like, but there's a pizza. If they're doing it, they're selling it to someone's buying that fucking pizza. And then I started deconstructing, like, well, I would do English peas if it did like a fresh pizza with like a herbed goat cheese or like herbed ricotta with like some fresh vegetables on it. It's not like baked other than the cheese maybe, or even the cheese is fresh and it's just a focaccia with like kind of a pizza style thing. And then you're like eating, next thing you know, you're eating fucking English peas on a pizza and you're like, well, how the fuck did I get here?
Yeah.
So like, I think there's a way to like make.
That's the chopped
I think
mindset.
it's fucked up to be like, yo, this doesn't belong on pizza.
It is,
But I
fucked
have
up
like
to say
weird,
that, but-
weird like philosophical and like moral stances on exploited things. Like I'm like, I don't. Someone's like anchovies. I'm like, man, the anchovy fisheries are so. I'm such a fucking hippy dippy like I like people like you watch Seaconspiracy.
They don't
like,
give those
I'm
anchovies health insurance.
Motherfucker, Seaconspiracy. I've been talking about this shit for 5 years and stopped eating salmon like years ago. You're just telling. I
sorry
don't
for
need to
bringing up
watch
the salmon in my
Seaconspiracy.
fridge, dude.
Yeah, I know. I hate you. But I'm like, I was like talking to a chef about it. I'm like, but anchovies in the fishery. And he's like, oh, I get it. And I'm like, I just don't want to do that to like, when I look at things, I'm like, I'd prefer not to be part of the problems that I see as major, major problems.
So
And
your
there's
stance-
plenty of shit on my menu that part of a problem.
Free range,
Yeah.
humanely grown pineapples.
Yes. Single source shade
Wild caught.
grown.
Wild caught.
Straight from
wild
Hawaii.
caught straight. But then you're like getting into pineapples and food miles. And I'm like, but yeah, I would do a pineapple on a pizza.
Let me tell you a very
I think about
great-
the shit that like people like Spike Jurd or like Alice Waters talk about. And it's really fucked up for pizza that I'm even having these conversations like, oh, we have to think about the
Wait till you
food
hear
miles
who
of the
built these
pineapple.
mics, dude.
Yeah.
Realistically speaking.
Let me just say this, so then later down the line, when this is $1 million idea and you
Yeah.
steal it from us,
Yeah.
this is the
You just gave it to me.
LFTS podcast pizza:
Yeah.
buffalo chicken and pineapple.
I like that. The sweet with the. You do that, dude.
It is good.
I'll just put a different fruit on it. And let's call it my own.
Wouldn't be LFTS, bro.
Collab on it. We got the collab pizza. Once I get pineapple in there, where the hell pineapples just grow in Hawaii, right?
That's
Fuck
why
the
we.
pineapple.
That
I'm
is
guessing. I don't
legitimately why we bought Hawaii as a state.
You know it's so you bought. Oh, we bought Hawaii.
That is,
for
no,
the-
I'm not even making that up.
You know,
It's true.
I just found out
Dole.
somebody who bought my pizzas. Their fam. I'm not going to say who. It's a prominent family in the area. They actually own like somebody was telling me they're like, you know, that family like bought like half of Hawaii. It's like a family from this area.
Jesus.
They like they owned like a shit ton of real estate in Hawaii.
Damn.
And like
That
I
must be
shipped
chill.
them. I shipped somebody from that family. Like they tried it, and then they're like, "I want the pizza. Can you ship it to Hawaii?" I was like, "Yeah, no problem. You can ship anywhere. Ship to Hawaii." We
Wow.
freeze 'em
How
and
does
ship
that
'em.
work?
We freeze them and ship them and send them overnight. But we got a sick deal with UPS, so like we can make money on it.
Oh, shit.
I just shipped out 8 packages today. I shipped.
Do you have to like send them with like freezer bags?
You know,
and
you guys
shit,
like
or-
Sublime?
The band?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was actually my last concert, but I shipped my best friend is their agent, so I shipped him some pizzas today.
Oh, nice.
Sublime with Rome. It's not Sublime anymore, obviously.
Yeah,
It's
well, you
Sublime.
got Rome.
That was my Rome and Duddy was my last concert before the shut. Before the
Wow,
shutdown.
dude.
Jeez.
Crazy, right?
So okay, cool. So you don't just do the DJ stuff; you do like band stuff.
I just went to no, I didn't
oh,
throw it.
I was
that
like,
was just me
you
going out.
threw the Sublime
That was
concert?
like no. I would love to throw a Sublime concert. That guy is fucking awesome. The Rome Ramirez story is like just an awesome story.
I fuck with Sublime. Dude.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
we should get him on the podcast. Let's get Rome on the podcast.
Yeah, let's get
Hell
Rome
yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah.
That should be doable.
Let me see what I can do.
Straight from underground
Um,
pizza to Sublime.
Next, what's the next question? You got another fire round? You got fire?
Shit. I don't
man.
know. We can just
Cut
wrap
out some
up.
of that other
Yeah,
bullshit.
I don't think I have another great question. No. Fun comment. Top Shelf Liquors. They listen to 101.9 Light FM in their store, dude.
Ooh.
Found that out. Walked
Who
in.
is
I was
it?
listening. Top Shelf Liquors. They're a liquor store down the
Listen
street.
to what?
They listen to 101.9 Light FM. It's a radio station.
Yeah.
I was going to bring this up earlier because it is completely irrelevant and not important.
Yeah.
But I felt obligated to say one more thing. And that's what it was. I walked in. I was listening to some stupid song on 101.9 in my car. And I was like, oh, thank God I'm not listening to that song anymore.
You
Walked
walked
in,
in the liquor
same
store.
song playing. I was like, get me the hell out of here, dude. Is this hell? And then I got back into my car, still playing. So that's that. Not pizza related. Not anything related, really.
Yeah.
But
No, I get it. Fuck the radio. You don't have a CD player?
I do.
Why don't you put on one of your songs?
I have a Gin Blossom CD.
And the 2010 Jimmy Selesky EP. The sophomore debut.
Sophomore's EP, baby.
Nice.
The only person still carrying around that CD
That's
in the world. But yeah, dude, this has been awesome, dude. This is first of all
Yeah,
3
this is
hours.
great meeting you.
Dude, is this a marathon?
Good
Who's the
chat.
longest guest you've ever had?
I
Probably
think
Brett Ernst.
Brett
right?
Ernst was 3
Who is that?
and a half. He's a stand-up
That was
comic.
that was like 5
Have you ever
hours.
seen the show
Dude,
Cobra
am
Kai?
I'm gonna come. Yeah, of course.
Okay, so so he was a co-executive producer of that. He's a stand-up comedian.
He's
and
he's
I have a confession to make. I used to go to my office during the pandemic just to get a break and just go watch Cobra Kai. Sit.
so Ralph
he's Danny
Macchio's
LaRusso's cousin.
cousin
on
in
the
that show. The guy who like beats up the dude with the bat, who's like the kind of like Guido cousin that works at the dealership. Like the kind of like
vaguely remember. I'd have to go back and look at it.
I forgot.
Oh yeah, Danny Russo's cousin.
Yeah, he's like the guy that like isn't there in the second season, but then comes back in the third. So they rehire him at the place,
Right.
and he's like just like fucking with the new guy and stuff.
yeah.
That's Brett Ernst. So he was on, and he was at the time when he was on, it was before Cobra Kai had come out. So he was like talking about it,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, whatever, dude, whatever,
It's
dude.
fucking funny. I think
It's
that's
really
an awesome
good.
show.
I
It's a
thought
great
it was
show.
Great. I watched it. I sat in my office and watched it over a week. Like I'd go, honey, I'm going to go work on stuff.
It's the only show I think I've binged on Netflix. I watched all 3
Yeah.
seasons in like
There's
2
nothing
weeks.
on Netflix right now.
Yeah, it's kinda
better.
trash.
We should just do another 2 weeks of this podcast and not
Yeah,
leave,
just keep-
so I don't have to go stare at Netflix. We should, dude. I've got a great comedian who's from this area who I can get on the podcast. He's got the goddamn Comedy Jam and the he's like a pretty decent.
Oh,
good size-
fucking
Josh Adams.
yeah,
Josh
yeah.
Adams is a great friend of mine. Huge
Oh, for
supporter of
real?
our pizza. Dude, he used to play. I'd love to have next time he's in town, I'll be like, your kind. His mom lives on the Eastern Shore. But he used to MC my events. This is fun. Actually, he talked, I feel like he talked about it on a podcast or something. But we threw him at Starscape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys remember Starscape? Do you remember that
I've
thing?
heard of
Vaguely,
it.
vaguely,
Probably weren't
yes.
old enough to go to it. Like he was starting doing a comedy, and I was like, "Yo, we got a changeover on this one stage. You want to do some stand up?" And we like threw him on stage, and he was like getting fucking booed. And, like,
Oh no.
kids are like, he's like coming with like, it was like a really tough. He's like, "How much time do we have?" And he's like he had 15-minute set, and they're like, 13 minutes. He's like,
Oh,
"Oh
no.
shit, I'm out of
Yeah.
material."
Oh my god.
Like it was bad, but
It's a rough spot
dude, I'd
because
love
like
to get
people are
him in here. He's
tuning
fucking
instruments
funny.
and shit. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's just it was
Ugh.
bad.
People are tripping on
He
acid.
got it. He got some people cheering for him by the end, but it was like it's a pretty funny story.
That's
yeah, that'd be
sick.
fucking sick.
That'd be amazing.
He's got great podcasts. Fucking the 500 podcast. That's his thing. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, I think I have.
Dude,
Yeah,
it's like
he's
they
going
go
down the
top
Billboard.
500, Rolling Stones top 500 albums of
Yes,
all time.
yes.
Going backwards, and he has comedians just on it, and like different people come on and like do that. They go through the album and talk about it. It's a
Oh,
fucking
shit.
awesome podcast. If you're into
Wow.
music. Yeah. And they're doing in order 500 episodes.
That's unreal.
Yeah, one a week.
Damn.
It's fucking crazy.
Well, that'd be amazing. I mean, if we could link
That
that
guy's
up, that'd be
fucking
sick.
legend. Awesome.
Yeah,
It
shit,
was
dude.
great. Thanks for
Yeah,
having
but
me out. It was fun.
At Underground Pizza.
At Underground Pizza MD.
Mm-hmm.
You also don't forget to cut out that shit where I was talking. No, I'm just
Yeah.
but
This podcast can be 45 minutes long.
podcast. You got 30 minutes of good material in these 3.5
Just gonna
hours.
start with me saying that I heard 101 Night FM in the store, and then just end.
and then me talking about some other guy's podcast.
So anyway,
great, yeah.
Evan Weinstein of Underground Pizza.
Awesome, man. Thanks for
At
having me on.
Underground Pizza MD on
Thanks for the
everything,
beer, bro.
Absolutely, dude. You drank
Half of one.
75% of one, so
Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
That's a record. That's a record.
All
Shit.
time low.
Yeah,
Another Maryland band.
there you go.
There you go. Are they coming to the Wrecker?
I think
Also,
so.
the Wrecker 2.0.
Yeah, no, it's
Heard
called the
that.
record now. It's called the record again now.
Thanks to you.
We did that. We did
I
that.
heard that, and I was like, that sounds about right. Like, somebody was like complained on social media. They're like, we didn't think of that. Just calling it the Wrecker. I don't think Paul Manna likes me. Anyway,
Hey, what are you gonna do? That is
give a fuck.
Paul's the guy. I was about to text him tomorrow. Didn't know that was his
Tell him
last
you
name.
had me on the podcast.
Yeah.
Let's see what he says.
Yeah, we want to do a live podcast with Underground Pizza at the record.
At the
Dude, we can go above him. We'll go to Scott and Brian.
Yeah, we'll go
That'd
straight
be
to the
fine,
source,
dude.
baby.
Fuck that.
I'm going to
We'll
Towson
just do it
Chamber
outside the
Comber.
parking lot.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Evan Weinstein, Underground Pizza MD. Eric, you got anything coming up, dude?
Fucking, I'm doing some like fundraiser comedy show for Zissimo's on May 22nd for
That's
them to
big.
get some renovations before they open back up.
Sounds right. This is your first live performance in a long time.
No, it's gonna be a Zoom.
Oh.
I'm caving. I'm doing one Zoom.
Oh, no. Well,
Yeah.
I
Is
mean,
this
hey,
your only Zoom the entire pandemic?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm gonna do it on the last day.
it wasn't.
Yeah, pretty much.
Last-
I mean, like,
And then when it opens up, I'm only gonna do Zooms.
exactly.
Zooms
Reverse
are
psychology. you
Zooms
know?
were not the move. Shit, dude. I wish I had stuff cool to plug, but like this weekend is my Easter, so I'm just kind of doing nothing this weekend. I think my next gig of any propriety is I don't have one. Not
I
this
guess we're
week.
gonna have to book you down at Underground Pizza Company for an acoustic set.
That would be fucking sick.
We should do that.
It'd be fucking
we haven't
sick.
done any music yet.
Yeah, I'll be at Underground Pizza on Memorial Day, guys. Come check it out. Hope you like the Eagles.
I'm a huge Eagles fan.
Yeah, dude, you're from Philly.
Be perfect, dude. We
Um,
got the Eagles poster right up there. Hotel
Hell yeah,
California,
baby.
baby.
guys,
Like
at
smash.
LFTS podcast on everything. Stick around. We got another bracket cooking up, coming out Memorial Day weekend. We talk about this. I can't say too much about it because then I'm gonna have to cut it out because Baltimore humor is probably gonna take that. So we won't do it, but I won't announce it. So we'll just do it when it fucking happens.
Until next week.
Peace.
Peace.